And I go, Dad, I'm like, I've actually decided to quit football, making stupid videos on the internet. A lot of people around me were like, what are you doing? But they made a group chat just to talk about me.
He quit football just to make prank videos on the internet. 2 years of silence, a group chat mocking him, then one noise in a supermarket, and 300,000 views overnight. Jamie Zhu's journey is anything but typical, from being bullied for being Asian to having over 5 million followers.
The first video I did overnight got like 300k views. Honest, like the ego started kicking a little, so I kind of like ended up having to like hide all the time. I found that comedy thing that was like the escape for me. The pivotal point where my life changed to where it is now is when I became a Christian.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Point 01. Today we're here with a very good friend, Jamie Zhu, who is a very special guest.
You're special, bro.
You're very, very special, bro.
Thank you.
So we're going to have a great chat today. I think it's going to be awesome. But you know what? I was actually going around the office and I was speaking to some of the Gen Zs that we have, and they have no clue who you are.
Yeah, I didn't
Zero clue. So who is...
crushes my ego, actually.
Which is good. It's all humbling.
Humbling with myself, yes.
Yeah, so who is Jamie Zhu? Like, tell me your story to get to where you are today, because you are currently one of the biggest creators, if not, well, one of Australia's biggest creators for the last decade, bro. Honestly. And so who are you?
Bro, I don't know who I am right now, actually. I've transitioned a few times. Not gender. That's a bit haram, in my religion. But, oh, yeah, man, it's been a crazy journey, I kind of started making social media videos in 2014, where I was doing prank videos, so public pranks, just running amok in public, you could say, around Sydney, touching people's hands in the escalators and making dumb noises in supermarkets and that sort of thing. To then transitioning to pranking my Chinese dad for a couple of years. That was good. And then, man, I feel like I've done everything. I did some skits, I did some music, I did some vlogs. I had like my own MTV show at one stage, did like some street interviews. I feel like I've done everything. But I guess you could say the pivotal point where my life changed to where it is now is when I went through a bit of a spiritual, you could say, encounter in 2021. And then I became a Christian. And then, I just started to do content with a bit more value, a bit more mature content, where now we're doing, you could call it documentary content as the primary. And then I've got like a Christian brand as well. And I've got a podcast. So a couple things.
Crazy. I've seen your transition over the years. We're pretty much from the same era. And I think from a social media perspective, in Australia, there's not many of us. I think you're from the generation of like the My Chinese.
I was like just after them. So they were like era one, they were starting like 2011?
Yeah, just before you probably really took off, I reckon.
I started 2014. So like second year, you could say.
Maybe second wave of creators.
Yes.
But you are huge on like YouTube, social media. What other platforms? You're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Are you on any other platforms?
Well, Facebook's my biggest platform.
Oh, that's right, Facebook.
That's where all my stuff kind of blew up in 2016.
What was it that actually got you to blow up? Because you've been creating content for a while. Did you blow up straight away, or did it take some time?
No. So when I started making videos, like social media was even new in America, and I feel like I really had to hustle. So long story short, I was trying to make it as a pro soccer player all of my high school. Didn't make it. Lived in England for a bit. Didn't make it. And then I just found YouTube, bro. It was the most random thing in my life. I didn't expect it. I didn't even like try and come across anything like that. It just fell onto my lap. And so I saw all these guys in Australia doing these funny prank videos, right? In like Brisbane, just making these dumb noises in public. And it was kind of weird because I do that anyway.
Yeah.
Not now, but I used to.
Just normally, right?
Yeah, I used to do that anyway. Like that was just me. And so when I saw these guys doing these things on YouTube, I was like, wow, like something just like hit a chord. And it was like, I have to go back and do this. But I didn't know that you could make a career out of it. I had no idea. It wasn't until I came across the Janoskians, you might remember.
I remember the Janoskians, yep.
And I saw how big they got on social media. I was like, wow, wait. So you're telling me I can go into a cinema, pretend like I'm having a freaking orgasm, and then make that into a career? And do you have to do that forever? Like just make dumb videos? And apparently the answer was yes. So I'm like, all right, done. So I booked my flights back home to Sydney from the UK where I was living at the time. And I just started. But to answer your question, no, it took me at least 2 years to get anywhere.
Really?
2014, 2015 was very difficult. I was, I came back to Australia with nothing. I just completely changed my life around, no more football. And I was like, wow, like, what do I do? So my dad, who's Chinese, and my mum is Hungarian Australian, they both had different perspectives on what I was doing. So during the soccer days, my dad was kind of like, Chinese parent, like, oh, you can try, but you probably won't make it. Just go be a doctor or a lawyer or something, or a physio. Yep. And so he was like supportive, but he was also like kind of like unintentionally or like under his breath, like sarcastic about, you know, my hopes of being a professional footballer. My mum was always supportive with whatever I did. So what happened was I was living in the UK, decided to go back to Australia, make videos for a living. I got back to Australia without even telling my dad that I'd come back and quit. And I remember, bro, I called him up and I go, and he lives in China for those out there that don't know. He's already lived there since I was school. And I go, Dad, I'm like, so Baba. And I go, I've actually decided to quit football.
He was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah.
But I've found a new career, which is, how do I say this? Making stupid videos on the internet. And bro, the guy started absolutely breaking down. He's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
He's like, you want to get into this field? Because he was a film director as a career for like 40 years.
Yeah.
So he knows the film industry, especially in China. He's like, no, you're going to die. You're not going to make it. You're going to be homeless for the rest of your life. Go to university, get a degree, become a normal person. And that's what I want you to do. And bro, I had to hold the phone like a meter away from my ear, screaming at me, raging as a Chinese parent would. And I'm like, all right, speed hours, no worries. Yeah, I'll go to uni, no worries. Knowing very well I'd sort of do my degree, but half-ass it. But
what degree did you go into?
I was at ACP just up the road.
Yeah.
I was doing a degree called Applied Fitness.
Okay.
But after school, I actually got into UTS. I got an ATAR of like 82, I think. And I was doing human movement.
Not bad.
Yeah, I was all right. But at that time, I was like, all right, I'll just go do this at ACP. And so what happened was, I was like, all right, yeah, no stress. I'll trust you. I won't make videos. So I had to go to you. And so I'm like, okay, hang up. I'm like, all right, so what's my next video? And so I started doing these videos, right? And I'm going to uni at the same time. And I had almost like a promise to myself that I made where it was going to be like, all right, I'm going to continue doing this. I won't tell my dad about it until I actually get a few followers and he actually believes. And look, I don't want to say that his advice was all negative because he understands the traditional route of film and TV and stuff. And
yeah, he'd be an expert.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think what I saw was like, you know how as Asian kids growing up in Sydney or Australia, where you can see like the guys like yourself went to selected schools, the guys that didn't. There's like this misconception from the Asian parents that my son's in Australia or my daughter's in Australia, they have to go to a selective school, otherwise they're going to become homeless.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's very different here though. So they're taking that ideology of how it actually is in China and then adopting it here. So it was the same contrast from what my dad was, I guess, thinking I was going to experience, where China, very hard to make it in the film industry, but Australia is different. But in hindsight, it's all difficult in the film industry. So I understood where he was coming from. So then about a year later, it wasn't. It was like 2 years I hid it from him. I didn't tell him a single thing. And during these 2 years, I was hustling, bro. I was like filming 4 times a week, just going to university lectures, just making these dumb noise. It was fun. Like it was just me being myself back then. But I wasn't getting anywhere. It was really difficult. And I knew I had good content because no one else was doing the craziest things that I was doing.
Because it's like super cringe at the time, right?
Cringe,
like,
bro.
Like everyone's looking at you going, what a dickhead.
Yeah. And all my school friends, like they made a group chat just to talk about me, talk shit about me. Yeah, I got screenshots sent to me. A lot of people around me were like, what are you doing? But ironically, my mum was like, nah, keep doing it.
Yeah, that's so
doing
good,
well.
Bro. That's so good.
Yeah, so I was going through that 2 years, man. And just to kind of answer your question, like it took me 2 years to get anywhere. I did have a viral video in that time, but it didn't really correlate to anything.
And that was Facebook viral, right? Like
not even, bro. I hadn't started Facebook yet.
Oh,
so
wow.
The first 2 years was just YouTube.
Oh, wow.
This was before Facebook even allowed videos.
Yeah.
This was before Instagram allowed videos.
Yeah.
This was like 5 years before TikTok existed.
Yeah.
So early days.
Yeah.
So YouTube was the only outlet.
Wow.
And I was just on there. And I got 9,000 subscribers in 2 years, which was all right back then, but it just didn't correlate to nothing. So it was a long, long grind.
Long grind. I think for a lot of people, obviously, they sit there and they go, wow, 9,000 followers in 2 years. Why didn't we fucking bother, bro? Like, not so little, no money, nothing. You're just spending all this time and effort and energy creating content. Then back in the day, did you film on your iPhone as well? Or how did you film?
Nah. So back then, there wasn't that kind of, it was a camera. So I remember I got back from the UK 2014. I bought this JBC Handycam.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, you had to use your we actually had no mics. It was just the hand.
Yeah, no mics. There was no mics back then.
Nothing, bro. It was just
back
like,
then, a wireless mic was like, holy fuck, are you like a producer or something?
Exactly.
Like, where did you get one of those?
Yeah. Exactly. So it wasn't like the standard that we have to uphold in 2025, but it's very different. It was like, you could just get away with some crappy 720p video.
Yeah, if even.
If even, right?
Yeah.
So it was pretty low effort in terms of technology, but like to get seen and all that was very deep.
And did you do all the editing yourself, or did you have someone following you? Who was your cameraman?
Well, yeah, good question. I think like at the very beginning, I had a mate from school just like come around with me, and he just did it for enjoyment.
Yeah.
He'd just have the JVC Handycam just for me. And then he got a bit busy with like uni or something. So then I found this guy. I didn't know how to find him. This like, so the first guy's name was Sam.
Yeah.
From my old school.
Yeah.
Second guy was his name was David. David Rosenberg he was from like Paddington area.
Okay.
And he was like this 30-year-old dude back then. And he just saw like, I guess he had a lot of fun, but he felt like he saw the potential that I had for these videos. And he just wanted to support. He was a really good guy, man. He would bust his ass with me like all day, like a couple of days a week. And he had to work as well for himself just to get by. But he was a really big blessing to like the start. So I was with him for maybe like a year and a half. And then I guess once I started to earn a bit of money, I was able to sort of pay people as well. So it's been, like a constant, like, different people for me. So
Yeah. What was that process like for making money then? Because obviously you had YouTube. Was it monetized in terms of like AdSense, or was it more so people paid you for brand deals? How did that work?
funny story, right? So like the 2 years I was doing YouTube, I think I got monetized, but I was getting like no money.
Yeah.
And just for context, back then you could make a video on anything and get paid for it. So there was none of this like ad censorship. There was none of this like, like misinformation stuff. It was just pure, like if you post a video of you killing someone, monetized.
Yeah.
So, it basically what happened was after the 2 years of me hustling on YouTube, I used to go visit my dad in China once a year since I was 7 years old. And I remember I went to China one year and one of my mates from uni was also there. And this is like late 2015. And so my dad's from Shanghai, but then my mate, really weird. He's like this black American guy, but grew up in Xinjiang.
Yeah.
In Urumqi.
Yeah.
Ulamuchi in Chinese.
Yeah.
And he goes, bro, like I'm here in Urumqi. You're in Shanghai. Why don't you come over and just come like hang for a bit? It's like, all right, sweet. And so I flew all the way from the east coast to the west coast of China just to hang out with this guy. And at this time, my dad still didn't know I was making. He had no idea.
So what did you think you were doing when you left Shanghai to go to Xinjiang?
Just hang with a friend, which I actually was doing.
Yeah.
But like he didn't know. He just does it.
Yeah.
So I land right in Urumqi, and it's the most insane place. It's like you get Chinese birthdays.
Yes.
Like it's
that's
crazy.
Right. That's right.
And so I was there.
The week
you're
there.
Yeah. Very strict as well. And so basically I was there, and I remember like I woke up one morning and I received a message on my, I don't know what platform it was, from Jackson O'Doherty.
Oh, yep.
And so I had been sent a few of his videos like previously by friends being like, oh, this guy does pranks in Sydney, you should collab. He goes, hey bro, I love your content. We had a mutual friend. Let's do some content when you're back in Sydney. Well, let's do some content. I go, cool, bro. I'm in China right now. Let's do it. And so this, the reason I'm explaining this is because this is what led me to Facebook.
So this is all pre-Facebook, all YouTube only so far. And
yes.
This is about two and a half years into your career.
2 years, you could say. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And I go, cool. And I was G'd, bro. Like Jackson was like, he had like 50 to 100K followers on Facebook. I knew nothing about it.
And that would have been massive back in the day, bro.
Massive. Huge. And I was like, cool. So I get back to Australia, to Sydney, and I link up with him and he goes, hey bro, yeah, we'll do some videos, but like, can you just quickly film me and Chest Bra first?
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So we went to Bondi Beach and I filmed them doing like this stupid, like, I don't even know what it was, like them wearing a wig or something. So I was their filmer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, cool. And then he goes, cool, man, thanks for that. Do you mind editing the video as well? I was like, yeah, sweet as. And at this time, I was delivering pizzas 5 nights for a living. I was on Centrelink. I was, working in childcare sometimes. I was ice cream store, hustling, living at home.
How old were you at this time? 2015?
23 maybe?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wait, is that 10
years ago?
2015. Okay, so that means it would have been 21.
Wow, young as, bro.
Yeah. About 21, 22. And so, I was like, yes, cool. And then I edited the video. Actually, I screwed up there. I left a black screen for 4 minutes.
It's like those guys who edit on a CapCut and then the CapCut logo comes up at the end.
And he lost it, He lost it. And so that kind of started the journey of me becoming friends with Jackson.
Yeah.
And he goes, bro, you're on YouTube. Why don't you jump on Facebook? I go, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if it's going to perform. And I was like, you know what, screw it. And it was at the point, bro, where I've been doing videos for 2 years.
Yeah.
And getting kind of nowhere. I'm like, how come I know like that this is what I'm supposed to be doing on like a spiritual level, but I'm getting nowhere? And bro, it was like this weird kind of like just trust. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try Facebook, but I'm actually just going to give it like everything. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to post 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give this almost like one last shot, you could say, because I was prepared to give up.
Was this all long form videos as well? Like all 3 5, 9, 10
Yeah.
videos? Yeah.
3 to 10, you could say.
Yeah. Wow.
So I was putting so much effort in, bro, and getting no results.
Do you know how many videos you made by that time before you made the switch on YouTube?
At least
Probably at least 100?
50 to 100 maybe.
Yeah.
And just getting nowhere, maybe. Yeah. And I just remember, bro, I came back to Australia. I'm like, all right, let's start this Facebook page up. And at the time, I was using a different username because I was scared of like, oh, everyone's going to find out it's me. Bro, my username used to be Mr. J1 TV. That was my username of the
J1 TV.
Mr. J1 TV. And so then I was like, you know, I'm going to full send it. I'm going to make it my own name.
Yeah.
Suck it. So I made this Facebook page. But what I used to do, right, is like, I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this properly. Because YouTube, I wasn't consistent.
Yeah.
That's probably a reason I didn't grow fast either. But like, it was just hard. So Facebook, I go, all right, what we're going to do is this. We're going to still film 4 times a week, these long form videos for YouTube. But at the end of each day, when we get back to Town Hall Station, whatever, I'm going to go into Woolies for 5 minutes before the train comes and just bang out a bunch of random, just dumb videos, like making noises, getting reactions, and jump on the train, edit and post. No effort required. You would not believe, bro. The first video I did, which was just me going to Woolies, like making this dumb sex noise in the supermarket, 3 reactions. Overnight, got like 300k views.
You're like, what the f?
I'm like, so you're telling me I've spent 2 years on YouTube doing all this stuff, high production, blah, blah, blah. And I've just like done one video that's gotten me the same, if not more, views than I have on YouTube in 2 years. I was like, yeah, done. And so it just started with the train. And this is when Facebook was so new still. No one was even posting on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like pumping these videos out 3 times a week. And bro, in a month, I get 10k followers on Facebook. 2 months, it's like 25. 3 to 6 months, I get to like 100 and something.
Wow. So you pretty much got to Jackson level just like that 3 months later.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then, bro, like, because Facebook was like so early and like everyone was on Facebook back then.
Yeah.
You know, now obviously it's...
So Gen Zs probably don't even know what Facebook is.
They don't, bro. But this was like the Instagram or TikTok to them.
Of the day. Yeah.
Everyone was on Facebook.
Everyone was there.
And then like, I noticed like my life starts changing. It's like everyone starts to know me. I'm like, what the hell? Like just from Facebook videos.
Yeah.
And so like everything just changed, bro. And then you just kind of like catapulted from there. It was just...
Gee. So that's around 2015, 2016 for you.
2016. Yeah, 2016.
And what was the peak that you got to for Facebook?
Like numbers?
Yeah.
Like followers?
Yeah, you're a couple mil, weren't you?
Yeah, I think it's like 5.7 million.
Yeah, it was like huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
But back, bro, like Facebook's one of those platforms where it's not uncommon to see videos at like 100 million.
Yeah, wow.
You know, and the good thing is like Facebook is now monetized, but before it wasn't. So I guess, sorry, back to your question, where'd the money come from, right?
Yeah.
So when I started this is all 2016 where I jumped on Facebook like March 2016. And then I just focused on it until like end of 2016.
Yeah.
And I had a goal that I wanted to hit 1 million followers by April the next year. So started Facebook. I probably started April actually because I wanted to do it in a year. So it started Facebook April 2016. Wanted to hit 1 million followers on Facebook April 2017.
Yeah.
And so I was pumping it, bro, all year, just consistent, 3 days a week. And it was the most low value, like low effort videos that would go viral. So I hit the 100K. Everything changed from there. And then by the end of the year, I think I had 300K a year on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the year, this is where the money starts to kind of like make a lot more sense. I started getting like little brand deals.
Yep.
And I remember the first brand deal I think I ever got was for this like plagiarism company.
Oh, really?
It was called Edgy Birdie.
Oh, wow.
And it was a company from the Ukraine that was so weird.
Yeah.
Like a Gmail email address. And they'd hit up me and like all these other guys online and be like, hey, can you advertise our essay writing services at the end of your videos and we'll transfer you before it's even via PayPal.
Yeah.
But sweet. So they just always have money, bro.
Yeah.
So I've been doing things for a few $100 and I want money now. And then I'm like, well, I want to like stop being a pizza driver.
Yeah.
And I hate Centrelink as well. So let's like try and make some more money. And then I started getting like nightclub appearance offers. Guest appearances, right? Guest appearances, yeah. So by this point, I had like, 300K end of the year 2016. And I was kind of at the level where, I don't know, bro, if I'm honest, like the ego started kicking a little bit. I'm like, I'm too good to be bringing pizzas. And like, I guess ultimately, bro, like I wanted to just make videos full time. And so I'd go to these like nightclub appearances and like, dude, like I don't get to this day still, like why people would care about me so much. But like, it was flattering, man. It was like so many people came to see me from his videos. And this was before the dad stuff even started. And I'm like, wow, like, I'm actually reaching people. They're saying that my videos, like, cheer them up and that had hard days and that I'm actually helping them. So I felt good about it. But at the same time, I was like, wow, like, I'm in Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney doing these nightclub things. And it's like, okay, I should probably, like, quit my jobs and boost for this. And then I just started getting a few more brand deals. It was kind of started escalating, but this was where influencer marketing wasn't in the thing. It was so new.
It was very, very new back then. No one would have thought to pay an influencer for doing stuff.
No way. So it was like I was getting a few hundred, 1 or 2 grand here and there, but it was enough to just sustain me. So that's kind of where it started to kick in, like early 2017.
Wow. So that's pretty much the beginning of your paid sort of social career, around 300K followers on Facebook. Then nowadays you got people with like 200 followers going, hey bro, I need $20 for a video.
Yeah. Change, right?
What a different world we live in. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
So before we dive deeper into like your social media kind of, climb, because you during that stage, 2017, 18, 19, bro, you're dominant. Pre-COVID, dominant, super dominant in terms of social media. What was the mindset that you kind of had, right? What was your upbringing as a child to kind of go down that pathway? Because obviously your dad's Chinese, so we all know, like, you're half Chinese, I'm full Chinese. So understanding that sort of lifestyle coming from an Asian family, did you really have that pressure to be that, to go down that education pathway from your dad, or because your mum is Aussie, was there kind of like a difference there?
Massive, bro. Yeah, massive. I think I was blessed because I had like the best of both worlds, I think if my dad had lived here when I was growing up, I would have turned out different. Like, I would have been one of those like really weird, like nerdy, nerdy boys kids.
You reckon you were like that studious type, or?
No, but I might have turned into that because of my dad's pressure. I don't know.
Sure, he would have beat it into you, bro. He's like a Shanghainese dad who's like a top producer, man. So he's like,
exactly. So I don't know. I think like, yeah, to answer the question, it's like I was blessed to have been around my dad's like philosophy of like work hard and obtain success. But at the same time, I think looking back, 'cause where I'm at now, I see success very differently.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yeah, he drilled into me that like success means like money and status. And so I was always like constantly trying to chase like fame, for example. Yeah, that's what I believe would make me successful and would validate me for, everyone else. And I think my mum, on the other hand, kind of gave me that balance where it was like, I had that ideology. So I had like the Chinese work ethic, but I could also like understand when like enough was kind of in. So I feel like, a lot of people, like maybe for you as well, you had 2 Chinese parents. Like,
yeah.
I know a lot of like, I'm Chinese. I know how that works. And I see a lot of Chinese kids like burn themselves to the ground,
100%.
hate life, want to kill themselves.
Yeah.
It's sad, bro.
It is super sad.
And when they bring that philosophy to Australia, and I don't think it's a bad thing either. I just think it gets out of hand. It's like, no, like, especially as men, right? We should be working hard to provide for our families. 100%.
I think that's the bare minimum. That's the standards.
Yeah. And I think Australians have it backwards to some degree because it's too chill. It's like, oh, later. I don't like that at all. But at the same time, the pressure that the parents put on them for that materialistic success when there's nothing greater than that, you both see it, right?
100%.
It's like you're saddening.
Yeah. A lot of pressure. So what was it like then for you growing up? Obviously your parents were separated since 4 years old. Your dad was overseas. What was that lifestyle like for you growing up? What do you reckon would have happened during that stage to help you, like that sort of mindset you have today? Because I think there's actually a few stages. Because I knew who you were and what you were like during that peak period for you. But then now, obviously getting to know you on a more personal level and understanding the challenges you've gone through. Completely different Jamie today versus the Jamie that was 5-10 years ago. But what was the Jamie when you were like 4 years old? Parents are separated. Dad's always overseas. Didn't have that, father figure there. And we were talking about this when I took you fishing last week, right? So
yeah.
Very, very different. But what was it like growing up? Did you get bullied? Did you go through that period where, you kind of struggled to have that fatherly figure? What was
massively, bro? Like, my dad not being around, like, destroyed me, man. He was always there, in a sense of, like, over the phone, but his physical presence not being here was, like, so debilitating. Because what happened was, when he left the family, when I was 4 years old, as a kid, like, I perceived that as, like, he left because I wasn't good enough. So I was always chasing, like, the validation from him and others to prove that I was good enough, which is why I chased all these materialistic things. I'm not saying chasing success is a bad thing apparently, but that was like why I was doing pure. And so when I was growing up, I was with my mum and she's like the best mother you ever asked for in the world, like from a mother standpoint. But like the balance between both, I didn't have the other side of it, right? Yeah. So when I was in primary school, I remember, I'll be honest, I didn't really feel like I had any like problems because genuinely, I went to Chatswood Public, basically all Asians, and I was the half Asian. So like, I was like, you fitted in, yeah. And people liked me, and I got along with everyone. But then moving to high school was where things really got.
Which high school did you?
St. Pius in Chatswood.
Okay.
From year 6 to year 10.
Is that a private school? Or is that
private school? Private Catholic school.
Yeah.
And then I went to Marismore Shore from 11 and 12.
Yeah.
And it was weird, right? Because I was used to kind of like being around my fellow Asians and being liked and social and stuff at primary school. So then going to St. Pius, where there was like mainly white kids.
Yeah.
Catholic school, knew nothing about it. And then going through puberty, got really skinny, insecurity comes in. You know what I mean? Like from being like, well liked to then being like the outlier because I was Asian.
Yeah.
But I was only half.
Yeah.
It was weird, bro. Like weird. And what happened was during high school, like early years, I'd be getting bullied real bad by the white kids. Cause yeah, I was like half Asian, but my mate.
Wait, did you look more Asian during that time, or were you kind of like, did you look more white?
I don't know. Like, see, Chinese people think I look more white. But
Yeah, I feel like you look more white.
Yeah, but then
I can still tell you're Asian.
Yeah.
But then the white boys
think I'm Asian. Exactly. So it's like, I don't know. I don't really care. But back then I had like my Asian mates and the Indian mates from my primary school.
Yeah.
And so what would happen? We'd just caught
Yeah.
every day. Like we'd get called Garys. Like
Fucking Gary.
that was, I don't know. Like I'm racist to myself nowadays. But I think it's funny. But like back then it was so bad.
Yeah, it hurts, right?
It hurts. And it was going on for like a long time. 2 years, I remember.
Yeah.
And I always had like, because my mom's Aussie,
Yeah.
Aussie Hungarian. And she, I lived with her. So I understood that way of life just as well. And I had these white mates as well that used to play softball.
Yeah.
And I remember, bro, there was this one pivotal moment where the racism about me being Asian got way too much, where I just completely left my Asian roots and never went back.
Wow.
So I was sitting down at recess in year 7, right?
Yeah.
And I was sitting in like a row next to the basketball court. I remember this so vividly with like my Asian years.
Yeah.
And this year 9 kid comes over. By the way, I think he was half Asian. Weird.
So he probably went through the same journey.
Yeah.
He's just projecting, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what he does?
Yeah.
He comes up to all me and my mates and he goes, "Oi, boys, come over here." Brings all these boys over. He goes, Asian. And he counts us all out.
Oh my God.
And that was enough for me to be like, nah, I'm denouncing being Asian. I went to the white group, never came back.
Holy
And so it was this weird, like, kind of like situation where I went to the white group. I still fit in perfectly to that group because I was half. But I was so self-conscious about how many Asians I was around because of the bullying. So even in groups of like friends, I'd be like, "Oh no, I'm Asian. Okay, there's one. Okay, no more. If there's one more, I'm leaving."
Yeah.
That's how bad it got,
That's
bro.
bad, bro.
I then stopped liking Asian girls.
Yeah.
I was only going for white girls. It was bad. At the same time as this, the whole dad thing was kicking in. So like, I didn't know how to like defend myself because I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
I didn't get taught how to like stand up for myself. I'd actually use comedy as like a way to deflect conflict. Okay. So like a defense mechanism. So some kid would punch me, chuck me in a bin, and I'd laugh it off. Because I didn't want to show, like, I didn't know how to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
And I'd use that. I'd do that so they'd think I didn't care.
Yeah.
But I did, of course.
Yeah, of course.
I'm in a freaking bin with my pants down. Just for being Asian, you know what I mean? Okay. But like, I'm like, haha, yeah, guys, that was great. And I used to have this like weird, like, you probably saw it in my videos, I'd have this like weird, like innocent look.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't think I was burning, but I was.
Yeah.
So I used that, and then I found that the popular kids or all the white kids loved that side of me.
Mm.
So I'd start being a smart ass. I'd start being edgy at school, get kicked out of class from the comedy. And I found that comedy thing that was like the escape for me. So I was going through all this daddy issues, you could say, not knowing anything about like how to be a man and stuff. But the comedy, bro, saved my ass in a sense. So that's kind of how the dad thing went in my high school years.
That's crazy. So you pretty much used comedy as an escape and coping mechanism for everything that was going on. Everything that eventually became the foundation for your career as well.
Yeah, ironically.
Ironically, right? How crazy is that?
I wouldn't encourage that, by the way.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. What do you think you would have done differently if your dad was here?
Oh, bro, I don't know. It's kind of like when you ask me that question, it's like, how would I raise my son?
Oh, exactly.
You know?
That's what I was thinking.
Honestly, man, like I really want to raise my son. This is what all parents do. It's like whatever the parent didn't get, they want to make sure the kid gets it. So for me, I want to make sure that, like, you know how Asian parents, like, you're never good enough.
Yeah.
You're at a dinner, yum cha.
Yeah.
They were talking Chinese. You don't know what they're saying.
Roasting the shit out of
Roasting you.
Yeah.
I will never do that. In fact, I'll do the opposite. I'll be like, my son's like, he's pursuing this. He's doing really great. Like he's going through some hard stuff, but he can get through it. It's more the notion of like, you can do it. You can get through this hard time. So, but the main thing for me is I want to equip my son with like the tools he needs, to actually like be able to handle life. That's why I said to you, like, I want you to teach me fishing and how to hunt and how to do, because I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make a freaking IKEA bed. Because I didn't get taught.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks, bro. I'm 31.
Yeah.
My missus goes, change a tire. I'm like, yeah, call the NRM out. I don't know how to do it.
Oh shit, we're gonna pay $200 to change a tire.
And then she does it, and I'm like, bro.
She does it. It's like, oh, I'm very man right now.
Yeah.
Super masculine.
Yeah. I don't have a missus, but I'm saying, like, if I did have a missus, hypothetically,
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen. So
100%.
I'd get him into like some sort of combat sport very early. Extremely early, so he can like just stand up for himself.
Yeah.
I'm not saying advocate violence, go punch on like a Lebo in from Greenacre.
Yeah, you get
But I'm saying,
Yeah.
I'm saying like at least know how to stand up for yourself. I'd make sure he learns Chinese as well. I wish I learned Chinese full.
Yeah,
that's a big one. And I think just like the encouragement that like being a man's hard, and like although it's hard, you have to like build yourself to a certain level of like ability and capability. But like, even though it's hard, like I'm going to make you work at Macca's whipping burgers at 14, but like you can do it. You can get further. Like I'm going to encourage your peers, not like we're never good enough like the Chinese spirit. So that's kind of, to answer that question, I guess.
Fuck, bro. Because honestly, we obviously relate a lot in this sense, right? Because Asian parents and Asian dads, my dad's Shanghainese, your dad's Shanghainese, same, right? So it's like, we understand, and I think from an Asian culture perspective, is they came from a position where, bro, they had to like go and scrounge around for bare minimum. They had to deal with wars and civil wars. It's dog eat dog world. It's fucked. It's a really rough time.
Yeah.
So when they come and they project all of their traumas onto us as kids, I'm actually very grateful. What you were saying about being around the yumcha table and they're saying my son's doing this and this, that was my parents. I'm very grateful. Like my dad, my mom, they were always very encouraging. My sons, they got to select a school. They're chasing their own dreams. Like, even though for my parents, and my brother didn't go to uni because he said, if you make me go to uni, I'm fucking jumping off the building and myself.
See, that's how extreme he gets, right?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And he was like, you cannot fucking force me to do something I don't want. He went to HSC and fucking slept in his exams, and he was Sydney boys as well.
No.
So imagine that kid who was sleeping in the middle of the English exam.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what ATA he ended up getting. I think it was a 40 something or whatever, right? Yeah. So he did not give a single fuck because he knew what he wanted, and he stood up to my parents, and my parents, although gutted, they at the dinner table with their friends would still say, my son decided to choose his own path. We're proud of him and we're supportive of it.
That's uncommon to Chinese parents.
Super uncommon.
You're lucky, bro. That's
very, very lucky. I'm very grateful that my parents went down that path because they decided a very long time ago to go down a very strong personal development journey. But I think because of my brother's behavior towards my parents, my mum became a Christian.
Did she? Yeah, I didn't know.
Literally. She literally, because of that, like my dad wasn't around much as well when we were growing up because he was doing business and he was trying to provide for the family, hustling, doing what he could. And then my mum eventually became a Christian because of like the torment she was going through. My brother, like she was struggling. I had to become the man of the family, and my brother had to kind of, he was the angry teenager, and then my mum was copying it. So she turned to Christianity. That was her savior because she was like mad depressed.
Yeah, of course.
Her only outlet was me. My dad was like the angry Asian man. I've had many, many times, and he's a lot better now, and he's obviously turned to Christianity too.
Your dad as well?
Yeah, same. They both.
You're next, bro.
Oh, it's up to you now. How many fishing trips will it take?
Yeah, I'm calculating. Don't worry, I've got like a...
Yeah, and he's like, Alan, 1, we're going to follow up next week. Are we going fishing?
Yeah. Jesus used to fish.
Is that how it works? But yeah, I mean, that's crazy, right? Because going through school, people see you now. They're like, wow, Jamie's so great. Like, I love working with him. He booked with some mad brands as well. And it's like, no one really would sit here and think this kid was bullied in high school. Because you're a good looking guy, you're Asian, you're smart, you're talented. People would see and go, wow, he's the epitome. I want to be like him. But they don't realize that the journeys we go through as well kind of shape who we are. And did you actually end up going to uni and finishing it, or?
Not really, man. I just did half the degree.
Yeah.
And then by the time halfway through, like the social media was going well. Yeah. And then I called my dad.
Yeah.
Told him.
Oh, you told him? What was his reaction?
Oh, look, I think I had like, it was actually when I had 20,000 followers on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? That sounds like your number. I called him. I remember where I was. I was in like my mum's car in Camaret on the other side street. I pull it.
In your mum's car, right?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, let me just pull him in. It was weird, bro. Like I told him on my head, listen, I just want to tell you, like, I haven't told you this, but last 2 years since we had that chat, I've been still making the videos.
Yeah.
and I've got 20,000 followers.
And what is
And
that?
he paused. He's like, okay, then fair enough.
Really? Is that it? You were like, Jamie.
No. It wasn't like that at all. He's like,
how?
you know what? If you got 20,000 followers, I support you.
Fuck.
And bro, Chinese parents saying they support.
It's like, bro,
kid.
that's like, oh my God.
That's how I can die happy now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm
Sick.
done. Yeah, I
Life's
can
good.
die tomorrow. Yeah. And what's ironic again,
Yeah.
even as you mentioned, the comedy, which was my biggest defense mechanism turning into my career.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say? It's like my dad being like the biggest unbeliever of my career became the biggest asset to my career
Oh,
as well.
Insane. Yeah.
You know, so that then started. That wasn't until later though, but like he was all right with it, man. So he kind of like understood to some degree, and I just guess like trusted me, and like just knew how into it I was and how certain I was for some weird reason, and yeah, it was all right now.
I reckon that moment you earned his respect, bro. Because it probably was like, I told my son to do this. He went behind my back and actually fucking pulled.
That's true.
That's my G.
That's true. Probably was, come to think of it. Yeah, probably
It
was.
was from like, fuck, I'm so
Maybe I
proud of
earned
you.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, you earned it for sure, man.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So what was like then going from obviously now Facebook, we're moving on, and you have a massive, like, very interesting shift in your career, like, because there was a lot of pranks. I think a lot of people actually, when I speak to them and, you know, your name pops up, they remember you from, what was it, the Australian Open?
Yeah.
I think that was probably one of the biggest moments. When was that actually? Was that
that
pre-COVID?
Pre-COVID. That was in January or February 28th.
Oh, wow. So would that be like, that would have been when your career really started to pick up then? Do you remember how big you were at that stage?
It was pretty crazy, bro.
Yeah. Because you were like at that stage, that was like peak, bro. You're on the news everywhere. People fucking hating on you. The comments were crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that like?
Oh man, like I guess people out there that haven't experienced like being in the spotlight, you would say, it's weird, bro. It's so weird. It's like from a materialism point of view, it's like everything that some people want, like me. Like I used to want that so bad.
Yeah.
And when you get it, it's like it's kind of like this cross between now, like people that you don't know you, and so you've got to like think twice wherever you go.
Yeah.
For example, I stopped being able to like eat by myself in restaurants or food courts or whatever. I used to think to myself, I've got to, when I'm in public, I have to act perfectly.
Yeah.
Or I need to make sure that like I'm always with someone, or I'm wearing like the latest, like I look good, you know?
Yeah.
So I couldn't really like just like be relaxed. It was always like wherever I went besides home, I'd have to put on a show almost. The good thing was though, my persona wasn't perfect. So I didn't have that problem necessarily like others may.
Yeah.
Perceive like an Insta model, for example.
Or like an entrepreneur, like a business owner or something.
Yeah.
You have to be that successful guy 24/7.
Exactly. But I think when it started was like, I started experiencing that in sort of mid 2016. Oh my God, it just started. And it was overnight, bro. When they say overnight to people, it's true. Like it's overnight, you know?
Yeah.
I actually remember, I used to go clubbing a lot back then. And I remember just being out with my mates, nothing was happening. I was making videos for 2 years.
Yeah.
I had this one video, wasn't even viral, like 500K views, which is good for that time. I was on like 69,000 followers or something on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I posted it, and it was a video of me. It was called When You Can't Afford to Buy University Textbooks.
Okay.
Wasn't even like, no one remembers it.
Yeah.
But it was just me going around universities and like just going up to his tables and just taking the textbooks and running off. And for some weird reason, the next weekend I went out, and I know social media guys love doing this, like inflating how famous they are, but I'm not doing it. Kid you not, like next weekend I went out, for no one knowing me, like 15 people that next weekend, like, so guy, can I get a photo with you?
Yeah.
And then bang, that sort of like brain shift starts. And so leading up to the Australian Open, it was just like more and more and more, because my audience was growing. I was doing crazier stuff, and it just got like to the point where like it was just insane. And so when you're experiencing so many people like like uplifting you and praising you and stuff like that, I'm lucky because I came from like a humble beginning, you could say. I never thought of myself as like, better than people, but it's like just constant praise, and constantly being exalted does get to you eventually, of course, deep down. So you start thinking to yourself, like, I would have been like, oh, I don't want to wind up here. I'm too good, or like, I like girls just became easier. You know what I mean? Everything just became easier. And so, you know how they say like money, basically like doesn't like solve your problems. It just inflates them. Same with like being famous or like experiencing that attention, it does the same thing. So like my insecurities became magnified by tenfold. So like all the stuff I was insecure about, whether it was like too skinny or I don't know, whatever it was, that too hair's not runs, look,
Yeah, whatever. Right.
that just became like even worse. And so I kind of like ended up having to like hide all the time. Like it was almost like, I just, when I was with friends, I didn't mind, meeting people, but by myself, bro,
Anxiety?
I had so much anxiety.
Really?
So towards that time that you mentioned the Australian Open, yeah, like you could say that was probably like the craziest thing I ever did.
Yeah, because that was massive, bro.
Yeah.
And did you get banned from it?
Nah.
Oh, I'm surprised.
So what happened was, everyone asked me this question.
Yeah.
They're like, what happened? I'm like, I'll tell you how it happened. So during this time, I was in like a group of other fellow social media pranksters.
Yeah.
And it was Jackson O'Doherty, Shami, Luke Irwin, all of us. And during that time, you probably remember like Jackson and Luke were doing the Silly Salmon.
Yep.
Shami was doing the You Wouldn't Do It.
Yeah.
With Michael Fallon, that's right.
Yeah.
All of us. And then there was me, like doing nothing.
Yeah. You're gonna have your own thing.
Yeah.
But the Silly Salmon was fucking huge.
It was huge, right? Massive. So all my mates going viral. And look, in hindsight, maybe not in this context, but like if you got successful, high-performing mates, you're going to find any way to step it up as well, which is a good thing inherently if it's for the right reason.
100%. That's why I say you are who you hang around, right? And
Exactly.
That's so important.
Exactly. So I'm there, right? If they hadn't been around me, I wouldn't have done that video.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
Bro, funny. I remember I was literally I was living in Melbourne during that time. I was sitting in my mum's car in Brunswick, the most lefty area in Melbourne.
Okay.
I don't know why I was there, don't ask. And I'm like, Mum, I don't know what to do. All my mates going viral, but like, I've got nothing. What do I do?
Yeah.
And my mum was very spiritual. Like, she's more Christian now, but she's very spiritual. So I was always agnostic.
Yeah.
Just ask the universe, or the universe would provide and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, like, cool. And I get home that afternoon, and I, for some reason, I still to this day do not do this, but I'm going through my Facebook messages.
Yeah.
I just never do this. Going through this on these. Stopping this one, bro. He goes, hey, bro, big fan. He's like, you wouldn't go to the Australian Open to Nick Kyrgios's match and make a massive sex noise.
Someone actually fucking...
Yeah, it was a jet. It was a jet. And I'm like, yes, I would. Bro, I'm like, this kid's a freaking genius. This is exactly how I go viral.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because it was a day before that I decided to do this.
Yeah.
The next day I should do it. So what happened was I'm like, all right, cool. I had one of my mates, Shami's filmer was in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Name's Jacob, and he was just happened to be there.
Yeah.
Like, Jacob, you and I are going to go tennis tomorrow. Hopefully I can find tickets in the right spot. I'm going to do this. All right, cool. So I go on the internet on Ticketek, and bro, you would not believe there's 2 seats left right behind the server on the left-hand side. And I know nothing about tennis. I haven't been to a single match.
Yeah.
Done. Book 2 tickets.
You just pure luck that like the universe literally sent them to you.
So I'm like, all right, next step, I got to, because in comedy, right, there's a very, very, very fine line between being funny and cringe.
Yeah.
And you've got to make sure the rhythm and the tone and how you present and how you land the joke is like spot on.
Yeah.
And I knew this. And I go, if I'm doing a sex noise,
right,
it has to be precision.
Yeah.
If it's too short, it's going to be cringe.
Yeah.
If it's too long, it could be cringe. So I got to find the perfect balance.
Yeah.
So I start like literally practicing. Bro, I'm in the shower. I'm just making sure that I have an exact rhythm, an exact tone, an exact melody.
Oh, shit.
Everything I got down packed. And I figured it out in 24 hours. It's, I don't know if the vlog's still there, but I posted it.
Yeah.
So I make sure this sex noise is the perfect combination of like ballsy, but like over ballsy, and just funny.
Yeah.
And I knew if I had not executed exactly that on the day, like the guys that think it was funny, even to this day, that maybe you talk to, they would have a different opinion. They'd be like, oh, no, I hate that guy.
What a creep. What a dickhead.
But I had to make sure it was on point. So I'm practicing this noise nonstop, bro. And I'm like, I don't know. It was weird. Like I was nervous.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'll just cross that bridge when we get to it. And so I go to the stadium and I remember, bro, like during Australian Open time in Melbourne, that's when Melbourne gets super hot, like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I texted my mates, boys, be watching this game. You're going to see something.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, Bruce. Anyways, we get to the match and I'm like sitting. I remember it so good. I'm sitting down and my plan was, all right, we're going to like let the match sink in. I'm going to basically try and find the right moment, maybe like 20 minutes into the match when everyone's like, calm down.
Yeah.
And when Nick Kyrgios is serving, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But think of like how quick it is to serve.
Yeah, that's right.
It's pretty fast. So I just have to rely on like my instinct. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of like shooting at Cuba. It's so silent.
Yeah.
You can hear a pin drop in the arena. I didn't know this at the time. And I'm like, oh, no, this. But it was this weird like tunnel vision I had. I can't explain it. I just knew I was going to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. And my mate was here with the camera. So we had 2 angles. So I was going to do selfie.
Yeah.
He was going to do camera.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. And I take a deep breath and I stand up and I'm like, I have to full send it. I cannot half-ass this noise.
It now.
It has to be the exact one. I get up and I open my eyes and Nick Kyrgios is serving. I'm like, all right, keep the camera on. And I put out my phone like this. And bro, I actually in the moment didn't even know if I pressed record properly.
Yeah.
I was just hoping that I did. And I just start fanging the noise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like I start going mental.
Yeah.
And the thing was, like, I was so focused on like making sure the noise was spot on that it went for a while, bro. Like this whole thing was like not just like quick one, then sit down. It was like a full, like it was like an orchestra.
Yeah.
It was like went for 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because I had to show how ballsy I was to do it for that long.
Yeah.
And I just remember, bro, some guy tries to hit my phone out of my hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's trying to pull my shirt, like, sit down.
Yeah.
I'm just like, there was nothing in my mind besides just getting it done and leaving.
Oh my God.
And so what happened was I did it. The whole crowd starts booing me. The whole stadium starts
Yeah, I remember. It lost it at you, bro.
lost it, bro. And then the funniest part was I'm like expecting as I put the phone down, like 3 seconds to get on my ass.
Yeah.
Not 1 second. Not one.
That's shit security. I
Or
mean,
some-
you should tell them Rod Laver Arena, right? Fucking
should, right?
Game, bro.
I should.
Yeah.
Some bloke in a blue shirt, like
Yeah.
50 meters away, just not doing anything.
Yeah.
All right. And bro, like the thing is like, this was my profession.
Yeah.
Like I'm a professional prankster at this point.
Yeah.
So I know how everything works.
Yeah.
Like, okay. First thing I've got to do is my phone down. First thing I did, I send that video to 3 mates. Because I knew if they'd come for me, confident on the phone,
Yeah.
we'll never do it, right?
That's right.
So I did that first. Second thing was, I'm like, this isn't, like, it's ballsy enough, but I still need the seconds to kick me out. But no one's doing it. So what do? Walk up the stairs, and I'm walking up, and I go, hey, bro, can you walk out with me? I was like, yeah, sweet. So you got I got the shot of the Seki and me walking out.
Oh, so that was all fake, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Because everyone saw it. It looked like you were being escorted out.
I didn't get kicked out.
Yeah. They didn't kick you out.
No.
Holy shit.
So, bro, as I said, this was so heavily pre-planned.
Yeah.
And I get to the inside of the arena, and there's this guy in a suit just sprinting towards me with a lanyard.
That's the security.
Yeah, not a rainbow one like you see in the
Yeah.
probably actually. But, and he goes, hey, you don't know what you've done. You just disrupted this entire match. Follow me. I'm like, all right. And so I go to the lift with him. He takes me into this lift. He's like, what's your name? What's your this? And I intentionally made sure I had no idea on him.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I'm James. That's my real name, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know what I said. I said something.
Yeah.
Takes me up the lift, and he goes, there's the door. I'm like, all right, thanks. And it was an overpass over the train line out into Richmond.
Yeah.
He goes to me, you don't know what you've done. You've disrupted the whole match. If I see you back in this stadium, you're going to be banned from today's match. If I see you back here, He goes, if I see you back here today, you're going to be banned from, what is it? He goes,
Banned from today's match. Or banned from the whole entire
oh, no. Sorry. He goes, you're officially banned from today's match. But if I see you back here again today, I'm banning you from the whole tournament.
Yeah.
I'm like, why doesn't this guy just ban me from the whole tournament
Right now?
You got
me a
freaking
chance, bro.
There's a freaking helicopter circling the stadium after my noise what I just did. You're just saying to me I'm banned from this match only.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, of course.
Yeah.
I just left. I'm like, oh, that turned out well. There's a freaking helicopter circling. There was some terrorist attack. And I'm walking, right? And I see, I'm like, all right, I'm sure that was televised. So I get out my Snapchat.
Yeah.
And I go, all right, guys, you may have seen what I was doing on TV. Sarcastically, I go, that was probably the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And there was some old guy, Aussie guy walking this way. I go, excuse me, sir, did you hear about that idiot that just did that noise at the match? He's like, oh, I don't think I did. I'm like, yeah, what an idiot to doing that. He's like, yeah, you know what, Hector's. I was like, anyway. And then, bro, 5 minutes later, I get a Twitter notification. I don't use Twitter. Never have.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamie Zhu, defiant fan, says that tennis noise was the best thing he's ever done. 2 minutes after I posted on Snapchat, the media's onto me.
Wonder how they get it so quick, eh?
It was televised. It was live.
Yeah.
And then they're just all over my social media.
Oh, they must have been like scouring. Who's this guy? Who's this guy?
So then I get to Richmond train station, And then I told my mate to meet me there. And he's like, bro, you don't understand what happened. Let's go home.
Yeah.
By the time I get home to my mate's place in West Melbourne, so not too far, bro, I'm on freaking 10, 15 articles already. They're already
Daily
news
Mail,
already.
7, 9 News, bang, 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 just popping.
It was
I remember that.
hooked,
Yeah.
bro. It was nuts. And I'm like, what have I done?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, at least he won the match. That's the main thing.
Wait, did he ever message you, by the way?
Well, how's this, right? And so next couple of days was like just chaos, bro. I had all these news outlets hitting me up, Current Affair, 9 News, 7 News, 10 News. Oh, hey, man, loved what you did at the Australian Open. You know, would you like to come in for tea? Love it, you know? I said yes to all of them, but I knew what the media were like because my friend that I was staying with, his name's Adrian G. He got exposed for doing a fake prank on Today Tonight. And I watched that a year prior and I knew what the media would do.
Just spin the story.
Correct. So a woman from Current Affair goes, hey, love what you did. So funny, man. Like, come to, meet us here. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it because the press was good for me at the time. But I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I went to do all these interviews in Melbourne. And the moment the cameras are on, they're like, hey. Anyway, so why'd you do it? Just destroyed me, bro.
Yeah.
But I knew exactly how, I wasn't media trained at this point, but I knew exactly how to respond. I was like, look, I didn't mean any harm. I just do funny videos for a living.
Basic PR shit, yeah.
Yeah, basic. But I was never going to admit I was like sorry or wrong.
Yeah.
Then they're going to catch course. Then, next couple of days, start seeing all these headlines like Nick Kyrgios heckler like ruins like tennis stars match, and then like articles saying that like some people work their whole lives to be in the Oz Open. This guy just comes in and ruins their dream, and I actually started feeling a bit bad.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing pranks, I've always had a good heart, you could say.
Yeah.
So when I would actually upset someone,
yeah,
I'd feel bad. But the pranks were usually just embarrassing myself. That's why I could do them so well.
Yeah.
But this time I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I can do.
Yeah.
So what do? I go on Facebook. I send Nick a message.
Oh.
Hey, bro, really sorry about what happened. Like, it was all good intentions. Guy responds like a couple hours later, all good, brother. Like, no. No worries, man. Like, I get it, this and that.
Yeah.
And when I sent the message, I was in Mornington Peninsula. I had to leave Melbourne for 4 days because it was just too much.
Yeah.
I had to leave the city.
Yeah.
And I'm there like, oh, I escaped because I felt bad. And now Nick's saying it's all right.
Yeah.
Then the last thing I'll say is a week later, I'm on my Instagram, right? And I post the video on Instagram, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm going through who liked it. I'm scrolling. I'm like, no freaking way.
Yeah.
You know who liked it? Nick Kyrgios.
Oh my.
He liked the video of me
yeah.
making the sex noise.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, done and dusted. So it was a whole story, man. And as you said, like, that's where, I guess my thanks to notoriety, like, gained a lot of traction.
That was massive. Did you get a lot of followers from that?
There's a difference between going social media viral and media viral.
Public viral, yeah.
When you go media viral, mainstream media viral, it doesn't always translate into followers.
Correct.
It does, but not as quick. But if your video on social media goes viral,
yeah,
then you get the followers. It was a bit of both.
Interesting. Because, publicity, like in terms of media publicity, I think a lot of people don't realize this is if you go viral or you end up on the news or whatever, people recognize you. You get like the street cred, you get a street recognition, but it might not translate to followers in social media.
Yeah.
You need the social media virality. So you got technically both from that as well. So people that are not on socials would have recognized you, and people on socials would be like, right, it's that guy.
Yeah, it was the craziest time. Like,
How big were you at that stage? You remember?
Like numbers?
Yeah. Like you would have been on Instagram at that stage now, right?
Instagram had come in. Yep.
Yeah.
So Instagram, as I said, bro, I was lucky. Yeah, I was 300K.
Okay. So still pretty big. Like, that's not small. Definitely.
Well, Instagram, like Instagram, I got to 1.2 million in 2018, but I've dropped. So like, dropping.
Yeah.
But back then I'd say maybe Facebook like 2 mil. Yeah. And then Instagram 300K or something. YouTube was like still slow, maybe 100K or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was back then, man. It was good. I was satisfied.
Yeah, they're good numbers. I mean, still, regardless to anyone, they're still good numbers even today.
Yes.
But you grew a lot bigger than that, obviously, over the years. After that, it was pretty much COVID.
No. It was So 2018, 2020.
2020 was COVID.
Yeah. So I guess during that time, that was where I started doing videos with my dad.
Yeah.
So then that was another massive push for me over like the next couple of years. So,
yeah.
So that was where I would say I got the most of my audience from.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone knows, oh, Jamie, Jamie. Everyone always walks up to you, hey, Jamie. You're just like, fuck, I can see it in your face. Just like, bro, not one of these guys again, bro.
Yeah.
What was that like, actually, transitioning to getting your dad, obviously, onto, the videos with you? Because he's a producer. His English is actually pretty good as well.
Yeah, he thinks it's crap. It's so good. Really?
Yeah, his English is fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
there's no one that's like a Chinese you know, obviously local.
Yeah.
What was that transition to getting your dad onto your sort of videos?
Oh, it was weird, bro.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, but it was so quick.
Yeah.
This was even before the tennis match happened.
Yeah.
This was like a year before that.
Yeah.
So this was like just when I was like getting, I think I was on like, it's like 1.5 million on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
And as I said before, I'd go to China once a year to visit them, just, you know, the family. And I remember, this was in the era where those like boyfriend, girlfriend prank wars were going wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, mom, like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
So I was kind of doing them with this girl for a bit, and then we ended up stopping doing them. And when I was in China, I don't know how I even got this idea, but I'm like, what if I like did the same on my dad?
Yeah.
And bro, I kid you not, I thought it would go nowhere.
Yeah.
I had no idea anyone would even care about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, my dad. So I just started doing them.
Yeah.
And I remember after the first video, I posted it online thinking like you're just average. Bro, it blew up.
That was the very first video with your dad, yeah.
The first video of my dad just pranking in like 4 scenes.
Yeah.
It was like me just screaming noises in front of him and stuff, and
Yeah.
getting his reaction, and like,
And these are like all genuine, real reactions.
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
not like a fucking scripted
yeah,
reaction.
yeah. And then like I would basically like go into Shanghai, like the Bund area, and I'd like get this woman to like, I'd be like, excuse me, my dad thinks you're hot in Chinese. 我爸爸觉得你很漂亮.
Yeah.
他要你的电话. And then she'd be like, what?
You had to say Weixin, bro. You missed that.
Wait, yeah, I know.
Like this fucking foreigner, bro.
Yeah.
The game.
Guilo,
Yeah.
yeah. And so like that was a scene, and that was just some random girl sitting on a freaking log,
Yeah.
East Nanjing Road.
Yeah.
Next minute, she's got like hundreds of millions of views behind her. And so, yeah, bro, we posted that video, and it was just a hit. And I saw how many Asians loved it and related to it, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
I wasn't that smart. Like, I was calculated, but I didn't understand positioning and like emotional attachment towards influencers.
Yes.
I didn't know that people would see me as a half Asian pranking my Asian dad and relate to it. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so that
You had denounced the Asian background too. Like,
back then, yeah,
exactly.
Back then, I was
Yeah.
there's not a
All
single
white
part of me
mates,
that was
yeah.
Asian besides down there, you know.
just all Asian mates.
Yeah.
No Asian mates. All white mates.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And bro, it just blew up like more than I could ever imagine. So, all right, we got something here. And so that sort of like 2017, 18, 19, 3 years.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, the tennis was in the middle of that.
Yeah.
But the dad stuff was going nuts. We got invited to do a TV series in Macau as well.
I remember you were
Yeah.
overseas. I saw that.
That
Yeah.
was crazy. And bro, it was just such a crazy time in my life.
Yeah.
And it was even interesting because I found it like, you know what's interesting? The people that actually relate to you.
Yeah.
And so when I was doing just pranks, it was like the Aussies and stuff.
Yeah.
But then when I started doing dad stuff, I got like almost every Asian in Western country.
Pretty much. And
Watch-
Filipinos and the
Yeah.
Southeast Asians. You got everyone.
And the Wogs and the Middle Easterns also related. But the Aussies didn't for some reason as much. So yeah, bro, that was like just such a crazy year. I'd be in China 5 times a year.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was like, no one knew that my dad was in China, that we lived separate. Everyone just thought that we lived together, and it was all in Australia.
Oh,
But I got to tell people like, no. All this stuff you see is like 95% China. Yeah. Shanghai.
Well, what was that like then? Because you obviously went over. Was it a game show you did in China, or what was it? It was a documentary as well. You did a documentary in China too.
Yeah. It was
How
like
was-
a
how's-
father-son trip documentary.
Yeah. How was that experience for your dad? Because obviously he's on the other end usually as a producer.
Yeah.
But then being a part of these shows now, like what was it like? Because he wasn't supportive at the beginning, and now he's supportive, and now it's like he's in it and he's fucking famous.
So crazy, bro.
Yeah.
So he was a director for like 34 years. So he
Yeah.
was the one used to like bossing people around and this is my vision. So I think like, yeah, what was funny was that like I'm back in Australia
Yeah.
experiencing this complete like new way of life, just absolute craziness, you know, for how many people like, you know, were following me and just my life in public in general.
Yeah.
And he's in China, blocked off by every social media platform.
Correct. So he would have no idea.
He had no idea. He was just
Yeah.
a normal guy, whereas his son's freaking getting stomped on, you know, in public. And so it was interesting because he came to visit Sydney in 2017.
Yeah.
So like a year after we started making videos. And bro, like, it's like when you see someone, you're like, is that them? Oh yeah, that's them because his dad's with him.
Yeah.
So that was how it was, right? And so he was like, Jamie, you made me famous.
Yeah.
He's like, how can this be possible? He was just, and the best part was people wanted to like meet him more than me. I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you. Finally, like, it's all about him. Like, he's
Yeah,
a star, you know,
yeah.
which I loved. And he loved it. He's like,
Oh,
wow, yeah, he loved it. He's like, Jamie, I was at the post office. And the woman, she take my phone and then she look at me. She go, "You Jamie's dad?" And he just messaged me like, "Jamie, I'm on the train. There is a guy. Look at me." He say, "Oh, are you Jamie's father?" So he loved it.
Oh, wow.
And so he had like a taste of it for like 3 weeks in
Yeah,
Sydney.
yeah.
And then he went back to China.
Oh, man.
So then we went to Macau.
Yeah.
We got invited to be on like a Chinese satellite TV station series.
Yeah.
And what it was like a father-son trip.
Yeah.
So the producers and we organized what to do with my dad.
Yeah.
And for him not to make. So it was like, I planned a trip with him. And so I went to Macau, and this show was done, filmed just after the tennis video.
Yeah.
So it was perfect timing to just leave Australia because I was so bombarded.
Yeah, you're going to smash.
Yeah. So I left. I'm like, perfect. I'm in Macau. Like, people only know me here for that stuff. Because Macau is, they can access.
Correct.
So I go there. He's there as well. Bro, it was honestly like an amazing experience. Really, honestly. Because the thing is, like, my dad, when he would make his movies, his TV series in China, he would, he's got a real soft part. You know how we were talking about this? It's like when you're out with your mates in Sydney, going for a drive, you listen to 1-4, Hoorie and Hefs.
Yeah. They're all like, drill, all hectic. Everyone thinks they're a sick cunt.
Yep. But in China, it's the opposite. You're out with your mates, going to freaking Xujiahui or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like you're going to clubbing and you're listening to sad love music.
Exactly. That's the Chinese style. We love that. The old school sad Chinese, like, the ballads, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So I love that as well. So I've always had that like soft spot for my dad and just being Chinese. And so what happened was the trip, I didn't actually know the angle of the entire show. I just thought it was me having fun with my dad, but there was actually a much deeper angle at the end.
Oh, really?
I had no idea. And so the trip was, like a couple of days, I took him to these like, it's like city, like a little city in Macau, these like great St. Paul's ruins, tourist attraction. He did like a jump off the Macau Tower. I did, sorry.
Yeah.
But then
Didn't do it.
he didn't do it.
He shat bricks, eh?
Yeah. But then, bro, on the second last night,
Yeah.
the producers go, "Hey, I want to speak to you for a second, though." So, and this was like a full-on show where, like, at the end of the day, we'd have to sit on the couch, do confessionals,
Yeah.
talk about the day, so they could insert it between clips.
And where was this broadcast? In China?
In China, oh fuck, that's way. Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, it was good. And so they go to me, "Hey, we're actually, we know you can sing some more.
Yeah.
You said you can."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh yeah, I used to get lessons and that."
Yeah.
They go, "What we're going to do is we want to surprise your dad on the last night, make it a real pulse and any."
Yeah.
I go, "How are you going to do that?" They go, "What we want you to do is learn this song in Chinese. And what's going to happen is on the very last night of you and your dad on the show, you're going to be walking through this Macau like town center near the hotel. And there's going to be a live band playing. And what you're going to do is you're going to go, 'Oh, Dad, like, let's go sit over here and watch the band.' And then halfway, you're going to get on the stage and you're going to grab the mic and whisper something to the singer. You're going to get off stage. You're going to sing this song to your dad."
Oh, my God.
So I'm going to emotionally talk about. Oh, and they go, "This is the song." And the song is called Father in English, but it's a very famous Chinese song.
Uh-huh.
And the good thing was, like, for some weird reason, when I sing in Chinese, I don't sound like a fob.
Yeah.
Like, I can actually sing properly
Yeah.
for some reason. So they go, "This is what we want you to do. You can obviously read it off your iPhone, but just start practicing." Oh, and bro, like, I go back to my hotel by myself and like, I play the song. I start weeping because the song is about like the love that the son has for his father.
Yeah.
And on top of this, not just me singing the song, there was actually going to be a slideshow playing at the same time. And what the producers did, right? I think I knew about this, or I didn't know what they were doing during the time, but they had it all planned.
Yeah.
They would basically every day, a couple of times, stop me and my dad and get us to take photos. And they'd be like, "Hey, can you, Dad, just stand there and then like Jamie go there?
Yeah.
And then Dad, can you do Jamie's shoelace on this bicycle?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Why are these guys doing this?"
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, the plan was, right, for me to sing this song to my dad live about the love that the son has for his father while these slideshows play. But
Yeah.
the photos that we took in Macau of the 10 different photos of his different poses were next to baby photos
Of you and your dad?
me and my dad doing the same thing. Bro, I was like, oh my, bro, I'm practicing this song. I'm crying, bro. I'm going to be a mess tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's where Chinese are just so good
Yeah.
at drawing the emotion out.
Yeah.
So I'm practicing this song and I'm like weeping, bro. Like, I know like there's a lump in my throat as I'm practicing.
Bro, I can feel it, man. I'm listening to you.
Even now, like
I
I
can
feel.
imagine what's happening. It's like crazy.
And the thing was, the producers knew all about us, bro. They knew that he left me when I was 4 years old, that my life was like shadowing breath when my parents went to this. They knew all that.
Yeah.
And they knew exactly what to do.
Bro,
So
like spies, man. How could they get all the information?
yeah. And so I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm practicing this song. Next day comes. And we still had some stuff to do in that day. And I just knew what was coming. And I'm like, I'm weird during the day because I'm like, I'm already feeling emotional.
Like
Yeah.
tense and awkward. Yeah.
I'm already feeling emotional. And then, bro, even now talking about it, you know what I mean? I'm like, anyway.
Tears are coming.
You're good for your podcast.
Yeah.
Look, I'll try cry if I wanted to. And so, yeah, I'm like basically like going all day, like preparing for Easter. And I had to like sometimes leave and like go practice here and there during the day. And it just brought back so many memories from the past, like that I hadn't even thought about it. And so it gets to that time of the night where they go, cool, last scene, guys. And Jamie, you know what to do.
Yeah.
And bro, we're going through this, you know, this place, and there's like 10 cameras on us all the time.
Yeah.
It's like very like
But this was proper high production stuff, like
proper.
Yeah.
And so we're walking through, and I'm like, oh, there's a band over there. Why don't we go listen to the music?
Yeah.
And I'm like, my voice is already shaky. He's like, okay. And
I had no idea.
No idea. And we sit down and like we're listening to the person sing, and it was up to my discretion when to go on stage. And I'm like taking deep breaths, and he's like telling me, Jamie, you know, when you sing, you have to open your mouth. Like, see the woman, that's why you don't sing good. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then
He's full roasting you as you're about to go and
he's
sing.
full roasting me, bro. It's full roasting me. And so, bro, I'm like, all right, waiting. And I'm just like, you know what? Let's just full same big. And so I get up and I go, just wait here. And I go up on the stage, and I didn't know what his expression was because my back was turned to him. As I'm walking through, I know what my job was. And I go up on the stage and I tap the woman, speak some gibberish, Zoidmin. And then I get out my phone and the mic, and I look up, and my dad's like looking around.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, and then bro, like,
He must have thought it was a prank, bro, the whole
Yes.
time. Yeah.
exactly.
What's going to happen?
Exactly.
It's on edge.
Exactly. And bro, it's like, I've got a crowd as well. There's a crowd watching me.
Yeah.
10 cameras, you name it. And I'm there with my phone, the Chinese lyrics, and like just minding mic, and I'm like shaking. Bro.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's go. And I start singing this song in Chinese. And, oh, bro, like I start singing, and like I don't know how long it was into the song that it was just too much. And I had to put the mic away, start crying. I look up, my dad's freaking bawling his eyes out. The screen, I think I can see the screen of the baby photos and the adult photos as well.
Yeah.
I'm just bawling my eyes out, bro. And I'm like, it was like this weird, like, I don't know, like this trauma, like rising up again from the past. Whereas like, I remember how I felt all those times that he had to leave Australia and go back to China when I was so young. And bro, because when he used to leave Australia, I used to be a mess for days on end and just go back to China. And he just brought back all those memories. And he's just there weeping. And I didn't even finish the whole song. Yeah. And I said like at the end, like, "Wo ai ni baba." Yeah. And like whenever I speak Chinese, he gets even more emotional.
Yeah, because
I go up to him and like I give him a hug, and he's freaking weeping, and seeing my parents weep.
Bro, it makes you cry even more, bro.
Bro, it was just so emotional. And I go, something about like, it was almost like this, closure, you could say. I was like, you know, in that moment, I was like, back when I was a kid, like I needed you, but you went there. And he's like, I'm sorry.
Cut the dad so deep.
He's like, woo! Wow. And, yeah, bro, it was just like this moment between me and my dad where like, I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
You know, like I can die happy, like with like that moment we experienced together. We're just crying, bro, just hugging each other's arms. And it was like, it was a really special moment, bro.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And then I don't know, it was just like, that was the ending.
That was it.
That was it. And then, yeah, we just kind of like, I forgot what happened after. It was such a blur.
Yeah.
But the Chinese TV station were just so clever. I could not have thought of that.
Yeah.
None of us could. They're just so good at like drawing out that emotion. And that's what it needed. And yeah, bro, like I'm so happy it happened. And so, yeah, that was something like really cool because as we said before, it's like he wasn't supportive of my creating.
Yeah.
But then leading up, we got to experience this together, and it's like, that just makes everything worth it.
100%.
Right? So it was
Oh, that's unbelievable. I need you to send me those clips and
Yeah. It's on my YouTube. Actually.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, great. I'll pull it off there.
Yeah.
So everyone else can see what it's.
Yeah.
But that's crazy, man. And a Chinese production, like we all know, Asian TV is like the epitome of like dramatization. It's insane.
Yes.
So the way they produce and the way they storyboard and all of that, I think every influencer will be like mind blown like how good it is.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's why white chicks are obsessed with like K-drama now.
Yeah, bro. Because the story like that, what? Yeah. It make me feel this?
Exactly.
It's like this. My eyes are watery.
Exactly.
Whereas Western drama is like reality TV, maths, reality TV, all of that sort of stuff.
Like man falls in love with transgender. Oh yeah, I feel some type of way. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. I just feel something different when I get home.
Why am I getting a hard on?
Crazy. So what was it like then? Okay, so turning the time there, because obviously we went into COVID afterwards, and prior to COVID, you were on this massive high. Did COVID actually impact your career?
Yeah, big time.
Was it good or bad?
Oh, it was both, man. It was both. What I saw was during COVID, like the bad thing was my dad and I were just so relevant during that time.
Yeah.
But the thing was I couldn't see him.
Yeah.
It was in China and I couldn't travel.
Yeah.
So I remember like I had to substitute, I had to like get other characters in and
your uncle.
Uncle, yeah. But like, yeah, so like that sort of stuff. But like, of course they were still popular, but not as much as my dad, right? And so during COVID, it was really tough because I felt like I was getting way more deals because that's when like influencer marketing went up like crazy.
Yeah, that was like the beginning of it, like 2019, 2020. That was like kind of where it started to kind of really creep in. There was actually foundations to it. People had proven projects with influencers.
Exactly. And like everyone's sitting online, so it's perfect time to advertise.
Yeah.
So I was getting like good revenue back then. So I got the car, I got the apartment, all that sort of stuff. And I was kind of like, yeah.
Do you remember your biggest year as an influencer? Or not your biggest year, but during that time, what was a big year for you? Was it like 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand in deals?
Back then, I would say like 300 to 400.
That's not bad.
Was pretty good, yeah.
Because you would have been what, mid-20s,
yeah.
26, 20? No,
yeah, about 25 maybe, yeah. So
like clearing almost $500,000 a year. It's pretty fun.
Back then it was good, yeah. But at the same time, it's like I wasn't done with my money, but it just disappeared because there's all this travel. I wasn't buying stupid things, but it's like it's expensive running a business, especially when you're like filming and editing.
Correct. And because you're always bringing people in, you've got videographers, editors. People don't realize this, right? Oh, you're an influencer, you make $500,000 a year, but you're big cheery.
Yeah.
But then you're going, flights for my videographer, editors, props, going all of that sort of stuff.
Exactly. The one good thing I did do though that year was you might have seen this video where I was able to like surprise my mum for
my mum's apartment.
Yeah. So that was another like, see, this is what's so cool about social media.
Yeah.
I was able to essentially like achieve two of my parents' biggest dreams.
Yeah.
In the space of like a year, which is because of social media.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother story about my mum. Where I saved up like 120K that year just to surprise her with a renovation for a home.
Yeah.
That was even more emotional, bro. That was a whole different level.
Yeah.
So that was a really good time, man. Like a really good year. And yeah, I guess COVID definitely impacted a lot. I couldn't see my dad, so I had to figure out other ways of filming. But it was kind of in 2020, bro, where like the revenue was good. I was able to do that for my mom. Amazing. Yeah. But that's where like you could say, getting to the next part of the story, like my downhill trajectory started.
I remember.
Really deep.
That was super deep shit.
Yeah. So that's where it started to happen.
Yeah, wow. So I think this also really connects a lot to your mental health. So like, what was it like for you? Obviously with socials, right? We're growing up now, everyone knows you were bullied. You went through that journey. You weren't like that special kid. You were like that bullied kid who was struggling. He didn't find his identity. But also at the same time, now going into social media, you converted your trauma into essentially revenue. And now how did that impact your sort of mental health and how did you deal with that?
Oh man, it's hard, right? And this kind of gets into like my belief system now. It's like, I think that in the world, in this day and age we're living, I can see that there's so much emphasis on success equals money, fame, and status.
Correct.
And I'm not saying that, like financial competence and some sort of like status in society is a bad thing. It's good. I'd use it in the right way. But when you're so fixated on these things that society and the music industry and culture, pop culture tells you that is, what you have to aspire to be.
Yep.
You start living that way, which I did, and you realize it's all for nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why you hear about celebrities kill themselves because it's like, I had all the money, I had all the fame, I had all this stuff and still doesn't fulfill. I mean, like, I didn't know what fulfills me. And mental health wise, bro, it's like when you're not, I wasn't rooted in anything besides my identity and my career.
Which is fucking crazy because that's so superficial, bro. Like, if you feel tied to your fame, any one day, if your account gets banned, it's fucking
you're gone.
game over.
You're gone. And I never had anything but that. So it got so bad, right? To the point where during that sort of peak period of my social media, I would be like, you know, sometimes I meet up with old school friends for lunch. And they would like, I remember this one mate, and let's just sorry, you didn't understand how it was for me. But I remember walking down Parramatta once in like 2019 or something. And yeah, of course, like, you know, my social media was doing really well at the time. You know, people were watching my stuff. And we walked down like Church Street, right? From like sort of like the 7-Eleven on the corner of, I think it's like, Thought Street is 7-Eleven to like Baby Vista area, you know, not like 100 meter walk.
It's like that restaurant street.
Restaurant street. And we're walking, just talking. At the end of it, he goes, "Hey, bro, like, I'm just kind of confused. Like, how come you haven't been recognized yet?"
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, bro? What are you trying to say here? I didn't say that, but I'm like, I used comedy. I'm like, oh, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But it hurt me.
Yeah.
It's like, are you telling me that like my entire self-worth is based on the fame? So what I started to do was it sounds so cringe, bro, but no one's going to tell you this besides me.
Yeah.
When you're in that field and that spotlight, a lot of the time, me and people are hoping to get recognized on the street because it validates you.
That's fucked.
It's so bad. So I would go out especially with new people. It was almost like when I was with someone new during that time, I had to prove how famous I was. And then once that was a tick, they saw, okay, cool. Next time I go out with them, I'm chill. I don't care if no one's
easy. Yeah, I'm famous. You know, I'm that famous.
Yeah, bro. Literally, that's how it was for my whole social media career. And it got so toxic because, as you said, when you lose it all, which I did, basically, when, you know, irrelevancy starts to drop, when things happen, when Gen Z starts coming out and they don't know who you are, and all this stuff happens, no one cares about you, the next new thing's out.
Yeah.
Bro, it hurts, right?
Yeah.
Thank God I'd found God by then. Yeah. Because if I hadn't, bro, like, and this is why I got into this depth of like suicide, mental health, spiritual affliction in the first place, is because my mental health, even though I had the world, I had the money, the fame, everything you could ask for, all the girls, I was still broken. I still had no fulfillment in my life. I still had like just an emptiness, and I was trying to fill that void with just more girls, you know, like more photos with fans in the street, more followers, more views, more money. But it just never filled me. And that's why I had to go into this new age spirituality route where I started dabbling with the crystals, with the tarot cards, with the hypnotherapy, with the spiritual breath work, with the Reiki healing, all this stuff.
That was during 2020 you started to go down that pathway, trying to kind of find yourself, soul searching a little bit.
Bro, you know what's funny? I was doing that stuff for a long time.
Oh, really?
Even when I was at the peak, even when I was like, just my whole life, you could say I was doing new age.
Wow.
Because I was still always like, I'm not fulfilled. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. And so you could say even before my social media career, when I was a nobody, still doing new age, because there was always some like missing void in my life.
Yeah, right.
I had it all, still the same thing. What's wrong with me? I'm still not satisfied. And then that's where I guess you can say, you know, late 2020, my mom actually got diagnosed with like a really large brain tumor.
Yeah.
Or a meningioma, just crazy out of nowhere, where she had to be admitted to hospital. Like she had to push through the queue.
Yeah.
It was that serious, where she almost died. That's where mental health wise, I started going freaking down.
And this is like pretty much lockdown introduction as well.
Yes.
Just after, like, I think, was it just after this period, late 20?
So Sydney lockdown hadn't happened yet.
Oh, you're in Melbourne.
So I was lucky because I used to dip.
Yeah, you're back and forth, I remember.
Back and forth, yeah. So I never experienced the big ones in each city. I experienced like the second.
Yeah. It's bad because like mental health is obviously very, very important, and we know this as well because I remember your speech at our good friend Connie's wedding. You know, very, very deep speech, and during that time as well, you know, I could kind of see that as well because I'm very close with Connie as well, and we always talk, and it's like, how are you doing? We'd always catch up with each other, especially Melbourne, Sydney, and you're in lockdown, I'm in lockdown. We used to play games online, trying to keep each other company and really understand. And that stage, I think, really seeing you kind of join her friendship circle and stuff like that was really fascinating to kind of experience and see that from an outsider's perspective. Because obviously you were this big guy, massive influencer, famous, everyone knew of you, we all knew of you, we all supported you because we're Asian, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, oh, you've just now become 1 degree away because you've become one of my very close friends' close friend. And that's where I kind of really started to know of you and kind of understand your psyche and see that. And it was beyond the social media for me where I was like, bro, this guy is a legit guy, and that's kind of when I started to look into it. And also at this period, obviously asking you the question there on the potty, it's like you went through a massive sort of mental struggle during that time, like 2020 to 2022.
Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
Roughly, right? And do you think it was all catalyzed because of your mum's situation, or was it kind of like your soul searching? Everything just fucking just compacted at the same time. What was that like?
Bro, it was nuts. I think that what it was the fact that it was almost like my whole life was like just catching up with me.
Yeah.
It was like all these things I was constantly searching for, these materialistic values that I'd instilled in myself to perceive the fact that I'm worthy to all these people. Even my dad, just caught up with me. And
That's
that's why,
huge psychological trauma, bro.
yeah, massive. Imagine like the burden. And I'm not saying that I'm anything like special or anything, but like we all have our problems. We all have our burdens, things from the past, whatever. But it's like, it just caught up, bro. It just massively caught up. And I think what happened was, my mum going to hospital really was like the catalyst for the downfall.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, bro, like looking back, like I believe that it was all orchestrated for a good cause. And so what happened was, my mom was in that dire situation.
Yeah.
And me being like the only son, at the time, as I told you before, I never learned how to deal with things as a man. I had no idea because I wasn't taught.
Yeah.
So I was always like overly emotional. I was always like a victim to my feelings. You know what I mean? Like that's how I was just raised. Yeah. Not saying it's my mom's fault, or it wasn't.
So would you say you're more like raised as more of a feminine man, right? More of a feminine man than a masculine man.
Correct. Yes. Because I didn't have my dad there. So
yeah, that's right. It makes sense. And obviously that's how parents' impact is so important to kids.
Exactly. And I didn't know until like after this that that's how I was.
Yeah.
And so I was very feminine. I was very like just emotional. Couldn't deal with it, crying all the time and stuff like that. Crying on like the girl's shoulder kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's how I still was when my mum was in hospital.
Yeah, right.
When she recovered, through the grace of God, it was obviously a great news. But it was almost like this weird, like just numbness I felt after that. It was almost like I got worse after she sort of come out of hospital.
Yeah.
And
when
so
did she come out of hospital? 2021?
So it was all, you could say, like December 2020.
Okay. Wow. All in one go.
Yeah, all in one go. So the diagnosis, like last week in November, she was in hospital the next week.
Yeah, and then it was in Sydney. It was COVID lockdown. I'm pretty sure it's December,
something like that.
Yeah, straight away.
And the thing was as well, it's like my escape route during like any hardship was just like birds. Yeah, that was my thing, right? That was your vice here. That was my vice. And so I started to like, and I'm open about this stuff. Like I started to sleep around more, go bot books, like just to get that fixed, to just escape my problem.
Yeah. Do you think that was like kind of filling the void for you, as in like, you just want that recognition, that feeling that you were important, that sort of stuff?
Yeah. It didn't work though. Because you're just trapped down like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But I believe that like that's what would fulfill me and get me through it, but like just made things worse.
Yeah.
And so like I just kept doing that, right? And then basically it's a very long story, but I ended up doing a lot more like new age spirituality.
Yeah.
So I started doing like, more spiritual breath work, more hidden therapy, more crystal, like charging the crystals in the meanwhile kind of stuff. I didn't know it was witchcraft back then.
Yeah.
But like, I was just naive, I guess. And then it wasn't until it was just like this really downward spiral, man, where everything was just going wrong, like everything. And I ended up being like, all right, well, Sydney must be the problem. Let's move to Melbourne and just party my feelings away.
Right. So that was the mindset behind that. I thought you were just moving for content, bro.
I used to say that.
Fair enough.
But it was just like that. You know what Melbourne's like.
Yeah.
It's just
Just fucking crazy.
Sin City.
Yeah. Melbourne's very different to Sydney.
Yeah. So I'd go down there. I had a bunch of mates there. All used to party, get drunk, do drugs, sleep around. That's all we used to do. So I'm like, all right, that was some of my problems.
Yeah.
And I'm going down there and start doing that stuff. Yeah, I felt like a thrill here and there, but then again, like you're always chasing that next piece.
Yeah.
So then I ended up seeing this girl, right? Seeing back then for me was maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a peak.
Yeah. And it was really weird, bro, because I was going through this really weird, like just stuff, and I hadn't exactly opened up to anyone about it.
So no one knew around you. You were going through this mad mental struggle.
My mum,
yeah,
that's it. She's like my best man,
but she's up all the way in the city.
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I was with this girl one night, and we were just lying down. I'm just gonna open up to her, see what she says. Yeah. And I go, hey, like, I just wanna, I got no one to talk to. Like, I'm gonna be judged. I don't want this to get around, But like, I'm going through this. I don't know what to do. Oh, that's sorry to hear that. She goes, have you ever heard of a thing called Reiki here?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I have actually. what is it? She's like, oh, wait, basically it's where you go into this this house, and this woman basically opens up your chakras, energy points, and she flows the chi energy through them, and you get healing. Like, oh, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, my family and I have been going to this one woman for a lot of our lives. And she goes, this woman is so powerful, but sometimes all the car sirens go off from the street. I'm like, yeah, sounds good.
Sounds great. Yeah, that
Sounds
fun.
great. Yeah, it sounds great. And bro, like this one decision that I've made turned out to fucking be the worst decision I've ever made in my entire life. Entire life. And so what happened was a couple of weeks later, I go to this woman. And this is a 3-hour story. So. But like,
we'll save it for part 2.
yeah. But essentially, yeah, bro, like I went to this woman, and she's a Reiki healer.
Yeah.
And basically what happened was I walk in the door, and it's weird, right? Because I remember so vividly, I walk into a house. You know how like when you're with someone, say you're hanging out with someone, get a vibe off them.
Yeah.
Maybe they
feel
make
like
you
an energy, an aura. Yeah.
Yeah, like an aura. Like maybe this person's like really like quiet. So you feel a little bit bored, and like you're the talkative one, but you can get an energy off them.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone's too over empowering. You feel a bit like you're like, shut up. Yeah. The reason I'm using this analogy is because when I walked into this house, it wasn't the woman.
Yeah.
But the house had an energy to it, which like literally like hit me in the face. Like I walk in and I felt this. I've never felt this in my life. This energy hit me in the face.
Spiritual pressure.
Yeah, bro. I didn't know what it was. But it was almost like if you walk into like a temple and you feel like this spiritual thing, right? And it felt nice. I'll be honest with you. It felt nice. And so I walk into this room, right? And I'm like, whoa, that was big energy. What the heck? And she goes, hi, yeah, my name's... I come sit down. And I sit down. And she's like, all right, we're going to start the process. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start like relieving past trauma.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, how do we do that? She's like, all right, close your eyes. And then she's like, oh, and I'm sensing you've got like some anxiety, some like anger, resentment. Yeah. We're going to reduce that right now. Okay. She goes, I feel like your resentment or your anxiety is like a 7 out of 10. Am I right? And I'm thinking this chick's crazy. Like, I don't know what you're on about. But like, no, I don't think it's 7, but I'm like, sure, yeah, well, 7. All right. And she counts down. She's like, all right, now it's a 1. Am I right? I'm like, yeah. yeah, it's a 1. I'm like, this chick's a professional, bro. So I'm just going to validate her. And so she kept doing that. I'm like, this isn't working. Then she like looks around me. She's like, oh yeah, I can, like, she starts fortune telling. She's like, I think you're going to meet a very special woman in 3 months and this and that. I'm like, all right, bro, like, is this Reiki or is this you being that rich and living with my life or something? Yeah. And she goes, all right, now we're going to do the Reiki. I'm like, all right, good. And so she basically walks me over a couple meters to the left, and there's like a massage table. Yeah. She goes, lie down here. We're going to start the Reiki here. And I lie down, and bro, all that happened was for 45 minutes. Yeah. She put her hand on the back of my head in this shape, like a triangle like that. Yeah. 2 hands for like 15. She put one hand like this on my chest, like that. And then for the next like 15, she waved her hands around here. I didn't feel this bugger. Yeah. But when I was in this session, I almost went into like a trance. It was really weird.
And you were face down, right?
No, I was on my back.
Face up.
Yeah. And I'm thinking like all these weird thoughts start coming to my brain. Like, what the hell's wrong? Like I'm in like a dream of some sort. And I'm feeling just this really weird sensation. And so after it, she's like, all right, we're done. Come out of it now. I feel a bit off. She goes, oh, that's part of the Reiki. Just drink some water. You'll be spit. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I had these really weird dark thoughts. Like, what's that all about? Oh, it's just you. You're experiencing this and this is who you are. It's beautiful. I'm like, no, bro. Yeah. If you knew I was thinking, it's not very beautiful. Yeah. She's like, just tell me how you are in a couple of days. So I leave this place. And I remember driving home, right? And it was on the very day I had to move into my new apartment. So I had to go to Domain in Melbourne QB to buy a pillow. Yeah. Yeah. And this is how you know the story is real. Yeah. And I'm there and I'm just like, bro, I just feel so weird. Yeah. I can't describe it, like I'm in a cloud of some sort, like I'm quiet. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. And I get home, right? I move into this apartment and I'm shut the door. I'm like, what the hell? It's hard to describe, but you know how when you burp, it comes from like your digestive tract. Yeah. I felt like there was this thing that just randomly appeared. It was like a fist, like a ball like this in my chest that I had to burp out. But the feeling was like just the worst emotion you can possibly think of. Really? Just horrible, bro. Like you can't describe it. And that day I got invited by 2 of my friends to go play tennis. And I go, I can't come, boys. I think, well, yeah. Anyway, I go to bed early. And as I'm sleeping, bro, I can't reveal a lot of this, by the way, but like it's just poor. I go to sleep and I get my head in the pillow, and bro, these freaking demonic thoughts start hitting my brain. I get these weird visions of this. I can't even say it in camera.
Yeah.
Just weird stuff. Yeah. Just hitting me. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I've never in my life had these visions or thoughts. These aren't mine. This isn't me. I'm freaking out, bro. And that whole night, I can't even say what happened to it. Just, yeah. I wake up next day. I'm like, what is going on? And then I'm like basically like driving around trying to do things in my day. And these thoughts just keep hitting my brain. Do you know what happened, right? When I would say like, get away from me, whatever this is, you know what happened?
Yeah.
I would literally feel a physical stab into my heart and into this area.
Yeah.
Like physically stabbing me from not wanting the thought.
Right?
Yeah, like a burning sensation, like it's house. And it was so weird because then come back, I wouldn't say go away. I'd be like, yeah, all right. And I'd be like, I don't want this. Bang. Like, I was being attacked by something.
Yeah.
And I couldn't deny it. And I'm just there like, I'm literally walking around, bro, in so much pain. I have no idea what's happened. I'm like, what did this woman do to me? This isn't me. Then, whenever I'm sleeping, next couple of nights, exactly an hour after sleeping, I get woken up by something like pressing and a stabbing into my heart.
Yeah.
And I'm like just full nighttime terrors. And I don't know what's happening. And that year, I had to go to the hospital 9 times. They didn't know what was wrong with me. Then I start like having these really weird like fantasies of like killing myself.
Yeah.
I hear this voice like jump off the balcony, get the kitchen knife, stab yourself. Just horrible things, right? And then I became like suicidal.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't me though. Like this is not happening my entire life.
Yeah.
And then every morning I'd wake up and I'd like have a tantrum in the mirror and start throwing things like shouting, yelling. And I'd go message my mom who was in the scene saying, ha ha ha, like really evil. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to kill myself today. You're going to have no son, this and that. Like, fuck, dude. It was just horrible, bro.
Bro, your mom would have been gutted every single time she got a random text like that.
Yeah. And so this, like, as I said, I can't mention everything, but this was some of the things that happened. I was going to counselors, psychologists, everyone you can think of. I would never seen this before. It's probably all in the head, OCD maybe, have these drug medication, yeah. Got diagnosed with all the BS, like chronic anxiety, severe depression twice.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, as I said, I'd go to these professionals, but nothing's wrong with you and know what's happening to me. And so then it was just like to a point where I was just so cooked, bro. I knew that something had happened in the session.
Yeah.
No one knew what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
I called the woman. I go, what'd you do to me? She's like, oh, that's part of the Reiki. Go to this psychologist. Maybe he can help you.
But that's so fucked up that the Reiki is referring you to a psych to
I know. And I paid her $180 as well. Didn't want to take any responsibility. My mum was calling her, what did you do to my son?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Reiki.
And your mum's a spiritual woman too, bro.
Even
she would
she
have
knew.
fucking sensed it. Yeah.
Even she knew something was wrong. So, bro, I'm having all these weird things happen, and that's not even, anyway, there's a lot more to tell, but that's what was happening, right?
Yeah.
And every day I just wake up and I just hate my life. This has never been me ever.
Yeah.
I've never been like this. And everyone's just rejecting what I'm saying. Everyone's saying, this time. So this is going on for a long time. And this is when I met you, I believe.
Yeah.
Like,
this was when we actually met for the first time in Sydney.
what was it? Do you remember the month?
I don't remember the exact.
I think it was May.
Somewhere around there. Probably around this time of, roughly around this time. April, May, June, somewhere around there.
Yes. And that was, bro, I would say like that was the worst date I've ever been.
Yeah. And I think that day we met you was probably one of the worst from memory, right? Because that night was bad for you, wasn't it?
Probably.
I think it was from memory because me and Alan were talking about it, or the other Alan, we were talking about it with you. And I was like, that's because we met you, right? And then Alan's actually very intuitive. So he was like, oh, Jamie's not like the guy I would have thought he was. Like, and I was like, oh, no, I think it's just probably a bad day or some shit. Like, he's just off camera, he's just chill. Like, he wants to just do his own thing. Like, and I remember that day we met you and you were with your mates as well. And Connie was here as well. Was she
Sydney,
Yeah, because they came for a clubbing event.
Yes, and everyone was staying in like a place in Rosebery.
Yes.
And then Connie and I drove back to Belt.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
So, bro, you got me, like, as I said.
At your worst.
At my worst. And I think you met me either in that same week where, as I said, that'd been like a few months I've been going through this stuff, being rejected by everyone.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with you. It's all in your head, just being discounted by like every single person I could imagine.
Yeah.
To the point, bro, where it was so horrible that in that same week I met you, I believe, I like tried to kill myself.
Yeah.
And so what happened?
I think it was actually that night from memory.
Yeah.
It was that night you were like, bro, after everyone left or into bed, that was it. You tried to.
Yeah. So it was in the daytime, so it might have been the next day.
Maybe in the morning. It was really close to that time when me and Alan came over and visited you. Like,
it was, yeah. And that was bad, bro. That was bad. And yeah, it was so crazy. I basically woke up one morning, I couldn't handle it anymore. I'm like, you know what, Reese, I go, Mum, I'm going for a walk. I sprint to the bottle shop, BWS in Chatswood station, grab like a small flask of Smirnoff, just start sculling it, sprint to Chatswood Oval, and I just sit near the train tracks, just sculling it, hoping I get drunk and just fling myself right to the tracks. And on the way, as I'm sprinting there, I write like a suicide note.
Yeah.
And I go, hi, everyone. A few months ago, I did a Reiki session, changed my life forever. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't do this anymore. Someone take care of my mum. Goodbye. I post it, sprint up to the area, start drinking. I'm blind drunk in like 2-3 minutes.
Where did you post it? You know, on social?
Post friend story on Instagram.
I think I remember this because Connie called me. She, bro, I need your help.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's up? She's like, can you get to Chatswood? You need to. Dang. What's going on?
Yeah.
Because she's never in Sydney. And I was like, because we're like only Sydney friends. So I was like, bro, this is. No one called me. I had to search on it. Yeah. It was fucked.
It was bad.
Yeah, I didn't know it was actually like this serious. She's like, we need to find Jamie something wrong. I was like, fuck, what's going on?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And like, as I like, in my drunken state, I remember just sticking my phone. Everyone's calling me, bro. All my friends are, please, like, don't ring me stupid. Where are you?
That's crazy.
I didn't reply to no one.
Yeah.
Until I see the phone ring, it's my mum.
Yeah.
And like, for some reason, bro, just answered me. Yes. Where are you? Please, like, you're my only son, please.
Yeah.
I'm right, I'm here. I'm at bay. Next thing I know, bro, it's almost like I open my eyes up and I see my best mate Chris just sprinting across the oval, like as a gorilla, like just sprinting towards me.
Yeah.
And then I look to my right and I see like, I don't know, there's like 3 cop cars, 2 ambulances.
Holy fuck.
There's my mate from Fairfield that's there. There's this girl I was seeing at the time. There's just everyone there.
Yeah. How
And
did you
then
know where you were? Did someone have your location?
I think my mum just told Chris and Chris told
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because then people were calling my mum and Chris.
Yeah.
Probably know where I would be. And I'm just like, Chris is like just holding me in his arms, bro. He's like, bro, trust me, man. Like, I promise you we can get keys together. You're not alone. I promise you. Like, you don't have to do this. I love you and stuff. And we go to the hospital. We visit the hospital. And they do this thing called like a mental health assessment. And, and apparently it's common. This stuff happens all the time. You know, people have freakouts and try to kill themselves, whatever. And they give me like some weird assessment. Like, do you feel this? How often do you feel this? And I know that they're going to try to keep me there if I answered the wrong question. So I'm like, no, I'm sweet. You know, no, I'm happy. This and that.
Yeah.
And then the lady with the clipboard leaves, comes back 5 minutes later. She goes, you're good to go home. Oh, I'm like, happy, but I'm like, you guys are retarded.
Yeah, that's proper. Because you literally just got escorted in because you tried to attempt suicide. And then you just answer fucking yes on all the forms and no on all the forms. And it's sweet. Like, it's
so bad. It's so bad. And so that's when like, and funnily enough, this day actually happened. Did you come to karaoke with me, Connie, and all the Melbourne people?
Don't think we did. No, she invited me out, but I don't think I was available that day.
Okay, so that night was the night before.
Yeah.
And you would have looked at me like, oh, Jamie's having fun, he's happy.
Yeah.
Karaoke. And the next day. And that's where you see people. It's like, you don't actually know what they're doing.
100%.
They can act like sweet eyes, and the next day they're on. So then, that's right. Then I got, I was like, I want to go back to Med.
Yeah.
So that's when I saw you a couple of times. We went to Hurstville, had something to eat, and then Connie and I drove back to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And
it was July, dude. Because
July?
If we went to Hurstville to get something to eat, it was my birthday.
Oh. Yeah. Around.
Probably could have been around then. Or was it the trip?
No.
Actually,
it was
trip
before.
It was the trip before that. That was the
trip 2.
Yeah, because I remember Connie was like, yeah, I came up and then next month I'll come back up for it.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay, so it would have been around May.
May was my mum's birthday. That's why I was in Sydney.
That's right. It would have been around then. Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So I'm going back to Melbourne with Connie. And bro, Connie, just for context, was like the best person I ever have in my life. You know, she was constantly there for me. She was trying to distract me. She was trying to find solutions for me. Yeah. She was just there for me all the time. You know, 100%. She even said like, I'm happy to live with you, just to monitor you. Like, she's like a mother figure. Yeah.
100%.
And she was just, bro, so amazing during that time. I don't know what would have happened without it. Yeah. So I get back to Melbourne and I'm still in this state, bro. I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. What ended up happening was every Sunday, really weird, every Sunday, I would have this thing that was called a freak out. Yeah. And so what happened was after that suicide attempt, you call it, my mom ended up making a WhatsApp group with all my friends without me in it. Yeah. Because they could monitor me. Yeah. And every Sunday for the next couple of weeks, for a while actually, for some reason I'd get worse. Every Sunday, bro. I remember there was this one Sunday I was like so deeply wanting to like just end it all. I was having this vision of me jumping off the balcony in my Melbourne apartment. Yeah. It was actually like one of the first times I was actually scared of myself. Yeah. I was in my bedroom. I lived in this like 25th story building in West Melbourne, Batman Street. And I remember being there by myself on a Sunday, just like clinging to the bed frame, hoping I wouldn't go and jump off the balcony. Then I had like visions of myself like going to the kitchen, getting like a butcher's knife, just stabbing myself. It was so bad. And during these times when I'd go through these like freakouts every Sunday, I would ghost everyone.
Yeah.
So my mum would be constantly, Connie as well, checking up on me all the time.
Yeah.
And like, I wouldn't reply to them for hours.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, there's cops on my booty.
Yeah.
They're like, where's Jamie? He's doing something stupid. And there was the next week where I wasn't answering again. They got cops to walk up and actually break into my apartment and see if I was there.
Yeah.
This is a regular occurrence. My ex was involved as well because she was living in Melbourne, just the whole thing. And I just remember, bro, like, it was just so like disheartening, right? Because everyone's telling you that it's all in your head. Get on some meds. Like,
no one's
nothing's
actually
wrong with
listening. Everyone's just kind of denying your, whatever's going through.
Exactly. And so it was like, man, like maybe I'm just dude. No one knows what's wrong with me. I just kept being knocked back. I would have gone to like 10 to 20 people. I went to more New Age people or New Age, healing stuff. And it got even worse. And it was just like, yeah, like, what are you doing at that point in your life? And at the same time, I had a social media career,
Yeah, bro.
I was
supposed to be this person online, man.
I was trying to, still film videos, but
Were you actually?
yeah, filming. And I forced myself sometimes, and it was just like the worst. I started like faking all the pranks. I started just faking everything. It was horrible like time. And I was just somehow surviving off like a few grand deals here and there.
Yeah.
And then got to a point, bro, where basically like I'd been going like at least 6 to 8 months with like no one knowing what.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying nothing's wrong, nothing, don't just get over it, all in there. But I knew there was something just absolutely not right.
Yeah.
To the point where like I remember there was this girl in our friendship group, her name is Gemma.
Yeah.
And she used to have these like parties in her dad's apartment in like Australia One, that tower in Melbourne, on the 100th floor every weekend.
The big one, right?
The big one. And I used to go to them, drinking this and that. And I just remember thinking to myself, man, if there was a balcony here, I'd just freaking myself off. And but there wasn't. And then there was this one morning I woke up after one of those parties. And you hear about this must be a spiritual problem. Can't be anything related to mental health. Can't be anything else. It has to be spiritual because I've tried everything. I'm like, everything's done. So I go on Google and I type in like heal spiritual problems Melbourne.
Yeah.
And the first thing that pops up is this Google search, and it's called Indian astrologist. I'm not going to say his name. Can heal black magic versus in block. I'm like, all right, what's the worst can happen? Yeah, great. So I click on the thing and it gives me his phone number. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I send him a message. I'm like, hey, my name's James is my real name. So my name James. I've been going through some stuff. Can you help me? Guy calls me. He goes, hey, sure thing. What I want you to do is send me a message with your full name, date of birth, and your photo. And I'm going to do a spiritual wing now. I'm like, all right, cool. And so then we basically, I send him the stuff, and he basically, does his wing. A couple hours later, I get a phone call from him. I'm like, hello? He's like, James. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I found something. You got to come see me straight away. And bro, I started thanking whoever was up there at the time. I'm like, finally someone has seen or has found something that's actually the problem.
Yeah.
And I go into his office. I drop everything. I go into his office. And he's like, he looks around my body. He's like, when I look at you, I see like a black shadow. Ooh, okay. He's like, takes my pulse. He's like, yeah, exactly. I know what to do. He's like, look, I can help you, but I'm not going to lie, it's going to cost you more. I'm like,
Black Star Prom, bro.
Well, guess what?
Yeah.
It was $1,000. Cash.
Fuck. Cash. No invoice. No invoice.
No. Cash, bro. He goes, go to the ATM, come back, and he can start the process.
Oh.
You think that's bad? Wait till the next fight.
Bro, I almost got scammed by one of these Indian astrology guys on the street of Melbourne next to QV. I was walking and he goes, brother.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
You take this. Yeah. Come and call me.
Yeah.
All right. Don't open it. But I'm telling you, there's a problem with a girl in your life. Someone's going to betray you. And I was like, fuck.
Oh, you think that's bad?
And then he was like, but $60.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
You wait to what you're about to hear, right?
Yeah.
You're going to lose your mind. So I'm like, all right, cool. Go to the ATM. Bro, at this point, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's found a solution. Surely. So here's my money. Here's the money. I give him the money. He's like, okay, thank you. There's some weird pair over it. He's like, all right, this is what I want you to do. He goes, I want you to basically, tonight at 8 p.m., go to a beach. And I want you to take this with, goes through the drawer, gives me like a red cloth, like a handkerchief with like dry white rice in the middle. And he makes it into a circle. Like the Chinese thing, with the bamboo leaf. What's it?
Oh yeah.
Like that, but
It's like a 粽子.
So yeah, like a red handkerchief with rice, but dry rice.
Yeah.
He goes, what I want you to do, I want you to say this prayer, and I want you to throw the rice into the ocean after you do it. And then over the weekend, I'm going to be sending you positive energy to like heal you.
Yeah.
You don't have to do a thing, just there's that. So 8 p.m. at night, I drive this thing to the beach. All right, 8, cool, let's do it. Go to the beach. I do this weird, I don't know who the prayer was to, probably like Hindu gods.
Yeah.
And I throw it in the ocean. And then that whole weekend, I remember it was like, I was just trying to get things done, not thinking about it, but I thought, what's even worse?
Yeah.
Monday coming out, calls me up. He's like, hey, James, I don't know how to say this, but like the healing hasn't worked. What do you mean, bro? He's like, I spent 3 hours on Friday night, 4 hours on Saturday night trying to send you positive energy, but you're the first person I've ever seen in 17 years where the energy has bounced back to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, here we go. I'm just so used to hearing this all year.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like it just, when this used to happen, it's like, oh, I'm going to kill myself. Like every time there was a knockback, that was my resolution. And so he's like, but I'm committed to helping you. Come back to my office. Yeah. I go back in. He goes, all right, next thing I want you to do is take this. Bro, the guy gives me, those glass cylinder jars?
Yeah.
He gives me a glass cylinder jar with like orange liquid in.
Oh.
I'm like, what's this?
Fanta or some shit.
I go, what's this? He goes, inside is turmeric juice that I blessed.
Oh.
I want you to bathe yourself in this juice twice a day for the next few days. Come back to see me and see how you are. I also want you to take this pendant, gives me like this gold pendant, and then have it on you at all times. I'm like, all right. So I get home and Connie's with me at the time.
Yeah.
So what's that? I'm like, nothing. Going to the bathroom.
Health journey.
Yeah. Bathe myself in this turmeric juice twice a day.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
And he goes, come back to my office again. I'm like, he goes, all right, I think I know what's wrong. He goes, we need to do something a little bit more. He goes, okay, I want you to go home, go to your wardrobe. I want you to find a t-shirt you don't wear very often, you don't really like. I want you to wear that t-shirt for 7 days in a row. Do not take it off unless you're having a shower. After the shower, put it straight back on. I want you to sleep in this, go to the gym in this, everything for 7 days. I'm like, all right, I didn't ask some questions. That's it. Yeah. So next 7 days, this is when Melbourne's getting a little bit hot. Like
so you stick like shit.
Yeah. And I'm having to wear a jacket and stuff like that. It's just bad, bro. And I do it for 7 days, and he goes, come back to my office.
Yeah.
Anyway, I go back to his office. This is where the craziness starts. He's like, all right, thank you. We're going to do a ritual now. Come with me.
Yeah.
Now, this guy's whole office is like, you walk up these stairs. I was going to say where it was. I won't say where it was.
Yeah.
You walk up these stairs. There's like a reception area.
Yeah.
3 rooms. 2 rooms, sorry.
Pretty sure these guys have been on a current affair, bro.
I realized after.
Was it actually?
Yeah. Not this guy, though.
Yeah, but another
His
one.
boys, probably. His mates.
Yeah. It's been on a current affair.
Yeah.
Indian scammer astrology thing.
Someone sent it to me after hearing the story.
Yeah, I thought so.
So he's got like this office, right?
Yeah.
There's a kitchen on the left and there's 2 rooms.
Yeah.
One's his office and then one's a door I've never seen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's inside.
Yeah.
He goes, come with me. We go from his office into the second room. He opens a door. It's a full like mystical, magical prayer room with like freaking everything, like Hindu gods like the size of his ceiling, turmeric powder, spices. There's like lime and lemon, garlic. Everything's there.
Yeah.
Like herbs.
It's just this restaurant, bro.
Probably is.
Storage for his restaurant.
Bro, who knows? It probably is, eh? And so I'm like, all right, cool. We go sit down here. And I sit down. And he goes, all right, what I want you to do is give me the t-shirt. I'm going to cut it in half. He gets a pair of scissors, cuts it a cut. He goes, do you know why I wanted you to wear this t-shirt for 7 days? And I go, no. He goes, because a t-shirt basically picks up your body frequency because it's the closest thing that is to your skin. So he goes, what I want you to do is I want you to fold the t-shirt and I want you to put a piece of your fingernail, piece of your hair, and one piece of spit in the t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to also hold the t-shirt here while waving around this orange scarf and we're going to do the ritual. And I'm like, what the hell is this going about? Like this guy, like I'm already thinking of who I'm going to go to next. So I had some other spiritual person lined up afterwards. I'm like, oh, let's try it. So he goes, what I want you to do is cotton t-shirt, fingernail hair spit. You know those industry t-shirts? The popular ones?
Yeah.
It was the dark green one of them.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. I have it in my hand. And he goes, all I want you to do is blow on it gently.
Yeah.
And in your brain, say, get this thing out of me.
Yeah.
Because like these are how the demons will leave you.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. So he goes 3, 2, 1, and go. And I start like, it's like this, like, like that, just blowing gently on the t-shirt as instructed. And he's like 2 meters away, and he's waving this this orange scarf around with my t-shirt in his hand, I believe. And he's chanting something in Indian, but he's calling out all the gods, like Krishna, like Jesus, Buddha, like everyone.
All the different gods.
All the different ones. That's what I'm doing. And so I'll be honest, I wasn't really like intentional. I was just blowing. A few minutes goes past. He goes, stop. That's what? He goes, it's not working. I'm like, oh, how possessed am I, bro?
Yeah, he's like, another $1,000, please.
Wait for it. Bro, you're gonna lose your mind. You're gonna lose your mind. And I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, but I'm not going to give up on you. I want to help you, and I want you to do this properly. I want you to really have intention of get these things out of me, and it's going to work. I'm like, all right. I'm like, fine, let me give this guy a go. Right? And he goes, and action. Like it's a movie.
We're good.
Yeah. And I'm blowing on this t-shirt. I'm like, all right, here we go. Get these things out of me, right? And I'm focused, bro. I'm like, let's actually try it for Vil. Minute goes past. 2 minutes goes past. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, right? All of a sudden, just remember, I have this industry cotton t-shirt in my
shit in the
with one tiny fingernail, one tiny piece of hair, and just a spitting. That's all I have. Nothing else. But you know what happens? On the 5th minute, right? A freaking flame starts to appear in the bottom right of the t-shirt. Like,
no way.
I'm like, look at this. He goes, there it is, bro. The guy freaking Ian Thorpe's on the t-shirt, and I'm watching him on the floor, and the t-shirt's flinging him around the room. Like, he's got the t-shirt and it's flinging him around the room. I'm like, slap him. I'm like, this is not real. This is not real. This is not real.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, he's like, quick, spit on it. I'm like, okay. And this isn't a gay porn movie, by the way.
It could have been on.
It could have been, though. It could have been.
2-1. Yeah,
could have been. I'm like, all right. And he's like swearing at the t-shirt.
Yeah.
He's trying to put this t-shirt in a jar.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm in a freaking another dimension. I'm in a movie.
Right,
This is a prank. I don't know what's going on. But the flame came from my t-shirt.
Yeah.
I can't deny this, right? And then it's like, what do I do? And he's like, get the water bottle.
Yeah.
He's trying to pour water on it.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden he goes, ah! And he screams in pain.
Yeah.
He turns his right forearm over.
Yeah.
Do you know what there is, bro? There's like a black burn mark there on his forearm.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, I've seen Lauren. He goes, get out of the room. It's too dangerous for you.
Yeah.
I leave the room and I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I know that just happened.
Yeah.
He comes out. He's panting. So I come into my office quickly. And he's like, James, he's like, in 17 years, I've never seen someone that's so demonically infested in my entire life as you are right now.
Yeah.
He goes, I know exactly what to do, but like, we have to act fast.
Yeah.
I'm like, brother, I don't care what you tell me to do. I'll suck you off with this. Sorry. That was my older brain talking. But like, I've seen it and I believe it. There's something wrong here.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to act fast because the demons know you know they're there now. Now, like, you're not tricked anymore.
Yeah.
He goes, what you need to do is you need to basically, we need to weld 2 statues.
Yeah.
He goes, we need to use the 5 elements of the earth for each statue. So gold, silver, copper, iron, and bronze.
Yeah.
He goes, we need to basically get 2 statues with 200 grams of each material welded into 2 statues. And next time you come in a few days' time, you're going to have these statues on you, which will then protect you when these demons come out of you, because otherwise they're going to come out of you and burn your throat from the inside out and kill you. I go, look, okay, I'll do it, sure. And he goes, the problem is this. You're going to need to buy some gold.
200 grams of gold, bro.
Yep. I'm like, all right. He goes, I can help you with all the other materials besides the gold. You're going to have to find us. He goes, you can go home and see if you got some gold lying around, but it has to be 200 grams. I'm like, look, bro, I don't care if you're scamming me, but I'm going to do it because I've seen what I've seen and I can't ignore it.
Yeah.
I'll get you the gold soon.
Yeah.
He goes, once you have it, come back to my office. As I'm leaving, right? He goes, wait. He goes, listen to this. He opens the door of the prayer room. And as he opens the door, bro, I hear like, you know when your TV's not working? Like, it's like he opens it and it's just like he goes, you know what that is? I'm like, what? He goes, it's a spirit dying in the jar. I'm like, I see that. He goes, wait, one more thing. I'm like, what? He's like, you have to take the spirit in your car and dispose of it somewhere. What do you mean, bro? It just came out of me. Why would I be doing it?
Yeah,
Isn't that part of your job?
Yeah.
Then, no, you got to take it. He walks back in, walks out with a plastic bag and this jar with the freaking spirit of my t-shirt inside of it.
Yeah.
Right? Oh. So I'm like driving my freaking Audi RS3 through Melbourne and I'm like, I'm about to die surely. This spirit's in my passenger seat.
It's right there, bro.
With the seatbelt on because I care about it that much. And I've got to go all the way out into Whoop Whoop because he goes, don't dispose of it near anyone's house. So I go all the way out to like Taylor's Lakes or Taylor's Hills, wherever it's called, past Sunshine, west. And I'm looking for any bin in like a park. And I can't find one on my scooter. So I dump it in some person's bin and I just leave. And I'm like, bro, I cannot, because the thing was like, it actually happened.
Yeah.
I wasn't making it up. He didn't do it to me because it actually was on the t-shirt, right? The flame. And I saw the whole thing and the burn. It was just crazy. Yeah. So then I'm like, all right, I need this gold. I call my mate Chris up. I go, bro, your parents are jewelers. Where can I find 200 grams of gold?
Yeah.
I need it fast. He's like, why?
Fuck.
I go, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
He goes, all right, let me check. He asks his dad. His dad goes, oh, I buy from D. Sponson Street and case. Bullion. I'm like, thanks. I call him up. I'm like, hey, bro, I need 200 grand today. He's like, all right, sweet as. I go, how much will it cost? He goes, let me just check on $17,000. I'm like, all right, done.
No way.
So I pay over the phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just get it done, go. And I go into the place.
Yeah.
As I'm driving into this bullion, whatever it's called, I get a call from the master, the Indian. It's James Zhu. He goes, when you left, I had 2 clients in after you. And as they came into the office, they heard like crying and screaming noises coming from the room where the spirit was.
Yeah.
Well, I get it, bro. Like I'm possessed, all right? I get it.
Yeah.
Let's just get it done. So I get this gold. And I couldn't see him until the next day. And so that night, bro, you remember how I told you I was getting this nighttime attacks?
Yeah, the tremors. Like, yeah.
Bro, these started getting 10 times worse. That night, I was staying with Connie in an Airbnb in Flinders Street. And I remember that night, and this is where, like, I always say this story is, I can't remember exact orders. It's very complicated, but let's just go with this. That night, I had the worst nighttime attack of my entire life, right? I'm in bed, I can't sleep, I'm being stabbed in the heart, left, right, and center. Even like the TV was flickering on off, just some weird stuff was happening. And I was freezing. I've never been cold. I was shivering.
I think Connie told me about this as well. I think she was a FaceTime imagery this period.
Yeah,
I was
probably.
Like, and she was like, bro, something's happening in the house.
Yeah, that was probably the place.
Yeah.
Because that was the place it was all happening, I think.
Yeah.
And I call my mum, I'm like, Mum, I'm going to die. I'm sorry, I love you. I had to go to hospital.
Yeah.
Let's check.
So, like, you know, people might listen to this and think it's all bullshit, but I'm literally validating it because I was on the other end of the line of a FaceTime, bro.
Yeah.
So I was being told this.
Yeah. And I can't make this up, bro. I'm giving exact specifics.
Yeah. People would just think, oh, Jamie's full of shit.
That's okay.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm just saying.
There's a good ending.
Yeah. I'm just like, bro, I heard this story live, real time, bro. Like, it's happening.
That's cool, man. That's really good. That's really good. So yeah, bro, I'm just struggling, bro. Like, I think I'm going to die. I'm like saying to my mum, like, I love you. I'm sorry. Like, I tried this and that. And it was just horrible. And it was so interesting that night, bro, because I now knew that whatever the problem was purely spiritual. And I was so relieved by that. It's like you get told you got demons. Oh no, I'm going to die. But for me, it was like validation. It was like, now I'm actually not crazy. Like these things are real. I didn't know this before, but I'm experiencing it firsthand. And so basically, like, I remember, I'm like, all right, so like, I can't sleep. All this weird stuff's happening. This is spiritual. So I go onto YouTube and I'm like typing in how to stop spiritual attacks at night.
Yeah.
And I see this video of this woman. She goes, hey guys, you know, I'm very experienced in this world of spirituality and demons and stuff. I want you to try something. It'll work and then heal. She goes, I want you to go to the App Store.
And download my app for $15. Everything marketing guy.
Yeah. It's like the Indian guy pops up. Hey, bro. And so I'm like, all right, App Store what? She goes, I want you to download the Bible app.
Oh.
I'm like, here we go. Some stupid like preacher trying to convert me to Christianity. I don't like this stuff, but I went to a Catholic school. I know it's about sweet. I'm like, you know what? What do I have to leave? And I download this Bible app. And she goes, what I want you to do is I want you to play this out loud as you sleep, as an audio, and see what happens. Okay. And by this point, it's been 6 hours, bro. Connie's with me.
Yeah.
She's like, are you all right? Like, she's staying with me, like, up, and we're trying to watch movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't sleep.
I think we probably FaceTime that day, bro. Because if you were watching movies, you guys were like sitting together watching the TV and you FaceTime because you're like,
Oh no, that was after.
oh, that was after. Because you remember that one, right?
Remember that one? That was
She was like,
after.
oh, Jamie's here. She's like, Alan, Jamie's here. I was like,
That was after. But sort of close.
yeah, very close. Would have been
Yeah,
very close.
Yeah, like a few weeks apart, maybe. So yeah, bro, I'm like, I download this Bible app. The skeptical as I'm like, here, bro, I'm just gonna rest my head on the pillow. See what happens. So, bro, it's the next morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wake up and I'm
who
like,
slept.
yeah, I wake up. I'm like, going to Connie's room. I'm like, Connie, what happened, bro? She goes, Jamie, you wouldn't believe this. You were up for 6 hours. You're getting stabbed. You're getting attacked. Everything was happening. The moment the Bible starts playing, you went to sleep like a baby and you didn't went back. Fuck. I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
She goes, I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And so then I was like, well, I'm halfway through this thing with this Indian guy. I paid him like almost 20K. Let's do
Yeah, they
this.
should gave him the gold.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck.
I was about to.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through this process. I'm going to try it out. If it doesn't work, I'm going to try this Jesus thing.
Yeah.
Which I was still very skeptical because I hated that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. So next day I go into the master's office. I go, here's the gold. He's like, you can praise over it. He goes, cool. And this was actually Melbourne Cup weekend.
Yeah, wow.
So he goes, it's going to take a bit longer for these statues to be welded. Let's hope it's done in a couple of days' time. And then I'm going to basically tell you the day you come in. I'm not going to tell you what time, but I'm going to instruct you specifically because we're going to do the second exorcism, which is going to be a lot more powerful. So like the days leading up, bro, like I was having, for better sleep because of the Bible app. Yeah, way better, bro. It was night and day. And it came to the point where we're going to do the second exorcism. At the end of the day, I was like meditating at St. Kilda Beach in the morning, waiting for this guy to tell me when coming. He messages me at like 11 in the morning, whereas, hey, okay, I want you to come in 5:30 p.m. tonight, but I need you to do a few things. He goes, I need you to wear all white. So white t-shirt, white shorts. I need you to go to Coles and buy a few things. He goes, I need you to buy 3 or so of those cylinder jars. Yeah. I need you to buy 2 bouquets of flowers, colored flowers. Yeah. I need you to buy lemons, limes, garlic.
Bro, he's making you to his personal shopper. At
And he goes, I need you to also go and buy, those 1.5 liter alkali bottles?
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I want you to buy 6 of them. I'm like, probably his grocery shopping.
Yeah, he's
So I went to Coles in Victoria Gardens, Richmond. All these things, and I'm thinking, I don't know what's going to. And he goes, I want you to come in 5 food. So I go, and as I park the car about 100 meters up the road, I start like reflecting on life, like, I could die right now. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. I saw what I saw. I know it's real. Yeah. Hopefully this thing, protects me. And bro, as I'm walking from the car 100 meters to the clinic, I'm getting stabbed in the heart again. Like I arrived at this place crouched like I've got a hunchback because I couldn't stand straight because of the things attacking me. He goes, all right, are you ready? This is going to be like the most important day of your life. Let's do it. Go into the prayer room again. And then he goes, okay, it's going to be same, but different. He goes, you're wearing all white. Good. He puts all the items I bought like near the prayer material. Goes, okay, here's a jar. He hands me a jar, right? That glass in the jar I bought. He goes, I want you to ingest this. He gives me like a couple of like Indian like spices. He goes, eat them. So I ate them, digested it. He goes, what I want you to do is I want you to put once again, fingernail hair spit into the jar and blow on it so it's like not transparent on the outside. So I do that. I'm like, cool. He goes, today, instead of you blowing on a t-shirt, I want you to basically scull as much water as you can, which were what the bottles are for, until you need to vomit. Once you vomit, I want you to notify me. I want you to like crouch over the jar and you're going to have the statues on you in your pockets and you're going to vomit out all the demons. And then once the demons all come out, you're going to hear a crying and screaming noise from the jar. Close the lid and hand it to me. That was the instruction me there. So I'm like, all right. And bro, I was like, I think I even wrote a letter to my mum before I went to it. And I'm like, Mum, if I die, like, I love you. You know what I mean? Like, it was just such a weird time. And so I'm like, all right, let's do it. So I start sculling this water, bro. I just start sculling it by the freaking 1.5 liter. And after like 5 minutes or so, maybe 10, I'm like 2.5 bottles down. And I go, I need to vomit. He's like, all right, you ready? And he's like, here are the statues. And even the statue here, like these 2 like Indian god statues, right? With my name, birth date, and something else from the wall. Yeah. They're gold colored at least.
The gold colored, yeah.
So I put it in my pocket. He's like, ready? This is going to be like where you vomit out all the demons. You're going to be healed after this. All right. 3, 2, 1. And I just vomit in this jar, right? Vomit everything out. I felt like I wasn't sure if I could hear the crying and screaming, but I assumed it was that. So I closed it. Ready for this? Oh, so I close this jar, right? And once again, I've got a metal glass jar with just hair, fingernail, spit, and the vomiting. Okay. Now let's say this is the jar, right? Say you're the master. Okay.
Yeah.
Open up your hands like you're receiving it. Up, right. This.
Higher.
Yeah. This there. So the moment I hand the master the jar and it touches his palm, you know what happens? Do you know what happens? Right?
Yeah.
A freaking flame erupts from inside the jar from the bottom and breaks the lid from the top.
No way.
And I'm like, oh, I've seen it all. What is going on? And I'm like, what the hell? And then the same thing happens. He collapses to the ground. He starts wrestling with the jar. He's like, oh, it's the
Vomit all over himself.
yeah, bro. I don't know. I don't even know what was happening.
Yeah.
And he's just freaking wrestling the jar on the floor.
Yeah.
It's throwing him back and forth.
Yeah.
And like, he's like, quick, go to my office, get the Indian statue from the office. And I'm like, all right, go in the office, find one of the 1,000. I'm like, here. He's like, wrong one, go get the other one. I'm like, far out. I'm like, so I go back and I get, oh, he's like, that'll do.
Yeah.
The guy's like trying to use it as like a shield of protection, like spitting on it, swearing at it again. And then he screams in pain. He's like, ah. I'm like, here we go. He was, by the way, he had a bandage from the last session.
Yeah.
He flips over his other arm.
Yeah. Another bone.
You know how I told you there's a burn mark?
Yeah.
Black one? There was just red scratches everywhere. I'm like, bro, what is going on? And he's like, quick, get more water, put it in the jar. So he's trying to keep the jar closed.
Yeah.
After some time, he goes, get out of the room. We should be sweet. Yeah. So I'm out of the room. And I'm like, must be healed, bro.
Yeah, surely.
He comes out of the room. He goes, come to my office, takes my pulse. He's like, you're healed. I'm like, I'm healed. I'm probably going to turn Hindu now.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, cool, man. Like, nice to meet you. I'm like, thanks, bro. See you later. Anyway, I leave that place. And I'm like, during this time, it was, do you remember our friend Emily Ward?
Yes.
She was on Love Island.
Yes.
So we used to go to James's place near Victoria, Queen Victoria Markets, like most nights, I believe, all of us, and watch her on Love Island.
Yeah.
So after the session was finished, I was supposed to go there and pick up Connie from that, TV thing and then just go home.
Yeah.
I remember like walking, right? I parked my car and I'm walking down. I feel good. Like, I feel like exhilarated. I'm like, yeah, I must be healed. Cool. Hey, Connie, how was it? I'm like, yeah, good. I'm probably healed, this and that. Go back to the apartment, go into my room and I'm like, oh, what's that? And bro, I start feeling sick. I'm like, oh no, like I can't vomit because like I don't have the statues on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, baby, what do we do? Yeah. And I forgot to mention one thing as well. After the exorcism, before I saw Connie, I go, thanks for that, see you later. He goes, no, one more thing we have to do. We have to throw the statues into the ocean in deep water.
Yeah.
That means, and if they're in deep water, you'll be protected for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So me and this guy cruise to St. Kilda.
Yeah.
No deep water there. We go to Altona Beach. He finds a spot. We throw them in the ocean. So the statues are in the ocean.
So you're saying if we took the boat down there...
yeah. I'll show you the spot as well.
Yeah, we'll go validate if it's real gold or not.
100%. Bro, we actually should.
We should go for a snorkel and go get it.
That'd be hectic. Well, I'm actually down.
That's great content. Let's go.
Done.
Next time we're in Melbourne.
So, yeah. So I'm back home. I'm like, statues are in the ocean. I can't vomit because what if there's still demons in there? What do I do?
Yeah.
Hey, man, master, like, I feel sick. What do I do? Let me pray about it. Get back to you on Monday. I'm like, screw this guy. I'm like, screw this guy.
Under now.
I'm like, screw this guy.
Yeah.
And I go, you know what? I'm going to go to church.
Yeah.
And it was at the time where Connie, as I said, there's stories of it all over the place.
Yeah.
But basically what happened was there was this one night where Connie was always trying to distract me.
Yeah.
And there was one night she goes, hey, I've got a Korean barbecue with some friends.
Yeah.
But someone can't come. Do you want to fill in for them instead?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, this was a few weeks before this happened. And I go to this place, right? And it turns out to be Andy and Pauline. You know them.
Yep.
And a few other guys. I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, how are you, man? And this and that. And for some reason, bro, I started sharing my problem with them.
Yeah.
And they go, man, like, have you ever, like, gone to church before?
Yeah.
I'm like, nope. And I'm like, I used to go to Catholic school, but, like, hated it, this and that. They're like, well, bro, like, like, we're Christians and, like, we know that God is real and we'd love to take you something. And I'm sure Connie told them. And I'm sure this was in Connie's, like, arsenal to, like, mini church one.
She's got weapons, bro.
Yeah. I didn't know that. And I go, you know what? I'll come. So that happened. This whole Indian exorcism happened. the Bible at night happened.
Yeah.
And so after like, you know, the second Indian exorcism and it didn't work and I felt sick again, I'm like, I'm going to go to church. And bro, this is like where the story starts getting now. Good again, juice. Yeah. So bro, like I remember there was like this Sunday morning and I didn't know what church was. You know, I'd been used to Catholic churches at school. I used to like mock everything.
Yeah.
And Connie comes, I think I was living with Connie again in that place that you FaceTimed us from.
Yeah.
Because we moved there. It was in South Bank. And then Andy and Pauline come as well. So it's me and Connie, Andy, Pauline. And we start walking. And we start walking towards like South Melbourne, like on City Road.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are these guys taking me? And like, they're like, oh, just trust us. Like, we're going to take you something. They take me to like this random building on the corner of like City Road and some other street.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are we going into an office? Like, this is weird. And you walk through the auditorium and I just see happy people. Go. I'm like, interesting.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they go, yeah, just like go through these doors, right? So what happens is they open up this door with 2 doors into an auditorium. And I'm like, where am I? I didn't know where I was. And bro, I step foot into the church, right? The doors are here, they open.
Yeah.
The moment I step foot, both feet in the church,
Yeah.
bro, I get this freaking presence like flung into my body, like, yeah. And bro, it was the most loving, peaceful, like happiness I've ever experienced in my entire life. And then I started hearing a voice, an audible voice, and it said, this is where you belong. These are your people. And this is where you're going to get healed. And I start bawling my eyes out. I don't know what's going on. I start freaking crying my eyes out. And I'm walking through the auditorium. We go to like the bottom right of it. And I'm like, what's going on? And I didn't want people to know I was crying because I didn't know why I was crying.
Yeah.
But I knew, like, now I know that the guys knew what was happening. I had a full-on spiritual encounter with God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, like, I'm listening, like, to the sermon and I'm just bawling my absolute eyes out, bro. And it was just this weird, like, knowing where, like, and like, almost every Christian's experience this. It's like you literally encounter, like, Jesus. And they, at the end, they do the salvation old school. They're like, if you want to, you know, accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, I come at the front. I put my hand straight up, went there, did the salvation prayer, truly believed in it with all my heart. And essentially, like, it was in that point I got saved as Christian saved. And then it was just this weird, like, really crazy, like, spiritual encounter that I couldn't let go of. And I just knew that I, like, encountered God. It was this weird just knowing. You can't really explain. And then from there onwards, bro, just everything started getting better. I then went home and I'm like, wow, like, that was powerful. And I started looking up other things online. Like, now I'm looking up demons and Reiki instead of, like, mental health and Reiki, like, you know, maybe it was a demon. And I start seeing that, like, there are these people online that have actually experienced similar to me. Like, they did Reiki and New Age. They got possessed.
Oh, shit.
And they found Jesus who delivered them from the demons. And I'm like, okay, interesting. And they're like, yeah, you should get something called deliverance. And deliverance is essentially like ecstasy from, like, a Christian pastor. I'm like, okay. And so I started typing in, like, Christian deliverance Melbourne. I find this pastor, his name is Pastor Joseph. He's in Cranbourne. I go, hey, I'd love to, you know, jump on board with you. I'm experiencing these things. And it was just like a process of, like, me understanding, like, God and understanding what it meant to be Christian and just like praying, started to pray. And just, it's like, what happens is, like, you gain the Holy Spirit as your discerner. And so I started having, like, this kind of, like, guidance. It just was this really weird, like, guidance I started having. His peace just came over. And then I kept going to church and Connie and I got COVID. That's when you were told us.
Yep.
In between all that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because as you're becoming, like, sanctified through God, the devil's still trying to come at you.
Yeah.
You know, I still was having, like, a lot of, like, suicidal thoughts, but I knew that, like, it just slowly subsided. Like, it slowly just got less and less. I then basically had a call with this pastor on Zoom. Funnily enough, I was in my car outside this doctor in Coburg. I was waiting for a fake vaccines during the time. And I speak to this pastor and I'm telling him everything I'm going through.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll get back to you in a few days.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 days later, I remember I woke up one morning and I'm like, what on earth is going on? I feel like I'm 50% healed. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I just knew I was.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to get confused, like, or maybe, like, you're just happy and, like, mentally know that, like, there was a way out and stuff. But I understand people thinking that, but it was this other level of like healing that I can't explain.
Yeah.
I just knew that I was like physically and spiritually like 50% healed. I couldn't explain it. And I jump on a call with this pastor again 2 days later. He goes, "How you been?" I go, "Yeah, I don't know why, but like 2 days ago I woke up and I feel like I'm 50% healed."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I know why that is." I'm like, "Why?" And he goes, "Oh, it's because my team and I have been praying for it."
Oh shit.
And I'm like, "What do you mean, bro? You've been doing these ones so with
What are
Paul,
these? Yeah.
that power." And he's like, "That's the power of prayer. You've never had that before."
Yeah.
And my mind just got blown to shreds.
Yeah.
And it was a slow transgression of like me just cleaning up everything there. It was like God was showing me exactly like the areas of my life I had to stop. I had to stop sitting here. I had to stop swearing. I had to stop going out getting drunk. I had to stop this vanity lifestyle. And yeah, man, like from going from like sleeping around all the time and doing all that stuff to then like I've been celibate for like 3.5 years now.
No,
I'm waiting till marriage.
no, not forever. Yeah.
Basically, until I find a wife.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't describe to you, bro. It's like my life has just gotten so much better. The peace I have, even if I'm going through a bad situation,
Yeah.
it's just different now. I'm so like fulfilled.
Yeah.
Going back to the start of this episode, like that fulfillment I was always looking for my whole life.
Yeah.
I've now got it. Like it's everlasting.
Yeah.
I can't describe it.
Yeah.
It's not about anything but like having like experience for, having God in my life. So that's kind of how it all happened. Very long story. There's a lot I couldn't sort of talk about. Yeah.
But that's crazy though, because like talking about finding fulfillment, I think most people in life, they're chasing money, chasing success, fame, sex, whatever, right? But finding fulfillment is definitely something that, well, I mean, the easiest way to say it is it fulfills you, but what does that really mean? It means that you kind of find peace in yourself and you find what it really means to be truly happy and free from like, the sort of shackles that the world has presented to us and kind of forced us to be indoctrinated by. So it's really good and it was really nice to see that with you because I think I've seen that journey, right? I didn't know at the time that was probably the worst that you were going through. I kind of lived that and saw that through one of my very close friends who was very close proximity to you. And obviously this is quite different to how you shared the story on a lot of other podcasts or wherever, even in your own social media, because I kind of see it from an understanding as a personal friend as well, right? And I find that very fascinating because a lot of people in your position use social media, and this is something that we don't even have time to discuss today, probably in the future, is how you actually were able to mentally deal with things like, going from, you were like heaps 1 point something million followers on Insta, and you're now down to like 800K. But at the same time, your life is more fulfilling. Your content is way better. You're getting bigger brand deals. And I think a lot of people struggle from the outset, like from a very superficial point of view, is like, oh, he's calling off or whatever. But you literally in that period of like that, in COVID period as well, right? It's literally like, 5 kilometer radius, 15 kilometer radius, whatever. And then, like special visits, etc. Is like that period where you went through isolation, self-struggle, mental health, spiritual health, all of that sort of stuff, even being suicidal, overcoming all of that, and then dealing with the vanity side of things, going from all the girls to no girls, to going, and also going from like non-spiritual believer to a spiritual believer. Like I'm not Christian myself or anything like that. I'm not very spiritual in that sense. Who knows what it'll look like over time. I'm a big believer in myself. But to see your transition in your journey and to see where you are today, you're happy, you're making great content, you're doing things that you love, and you're learning new things. We're going fishing. Like, bro, shit's good, Like I see that, and I see that for you because seeing you at your worst as well, and not knowing at the time, obviously, being not super close to you, and seeing that through Connie's struggles of, being there for you and all that sort of stuff, and hearing from Connie and being support to Connie as well. It's like I saw on another spectrum of who you were as a person and to where you are today 5 years later, bro, that's a fucking day and night difference. Honestly, very proud of how far you've come. Very proud of the content that you're creating now and the message that you're sending. And I think you're honestly living a way better life for her.
Thank you, bro. Yeah. And like, all glory to God, man. So
yeah,
I feel like if I hadn't gone through that experience, who knows where I would have been.
Yeah.
And so I just thank God for like literally everything that happened to me. I couldn't have done. It wasn't me. Right? So thank you though. Like I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like a testament to anyone out there that's chasing all these things. You need to find fulfillment from somebody. You can't find fulfillment in all these things. They're fleeting. And that's why the world's so confused and lost these days. And that's why even like mental health, man, you would be so surprised. Another thing that happened to me during deliverance was I had OCD my whole life. Bro, my OCD is gone.
That's crazy.
I cast it out. Literally, this sounds so woo-woo.
Yeah.
But demons get cast out of you. They're responsible for different things. I had an OCD demon. It left. I never had it since. 4 years. I used to be chronically plagued by thoughts and what if. I get messages all the time from people saying, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? Right, it's demonic. Like these things are real, and people are dabbling in these dangerous, spirituality modalities left, right, and center. And I just think that like one of the final messages for this podcast would be like to seek the truth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like there's more out there than you think. There's no other than vanity, than metrics and all these things. And for me personally, it's like just God's fulfilled me, bro. That's all I can really, say.
That's powerful stuff, man. Because honestly, the end of every show, I always ask, what is the cheat code in life that people have found in their journey to achieve where they are at, right? Because 0.01 is the definition of a person who has overcome a lot of these adversities to become the top of their game, and you're definitely one of them. You've been at the top of the game for a while, but to hear the truth and to hear the real side of being at the top of your game and struggling from an internal perspective and overcoming that to be even better now. And I think moving forward, as your relevance starts to increase again, it's really fascinating to see all of that. And I think you just actually nailed that cheat code side of things for yourself is, rather than me just asking you just went straight out and bang. That is what it was for you, is finding that fulfillment piece. And I think that is very, very powerful. So for those of you who have heard you for the first time, where do they find you? Especially as Gen Z, if you don't know who Jamie, where do we find Jamie?
Just everywhere, man. I think the best content we're doing at the moment is on YouTube. So just Jamie Zhu, Z-H-U. I know that's not the right way to say it, but
Zhu.
Yeah, Zhu.
Jamie Zhu.
Yeah. Or just anywhere, bro. Yeah, YouTube. I don't know, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Just everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Jamie Zhu everywhere. So yeah, thank you for another episode, my bro. And I know you're super busy. We've gone like an hour over time. So hopefully everything's all right. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much, Robert.
Anytime, bro.
Thank you, guys. I hope you have enjoyed that episode of 0.01. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along on all our socials at 0.01 Podcast to watch all of the shorts again. We release an episode every single week, and we hope you will join us as we continue to explore the minds of those who make up the 0.01%. Until next time, keep hustling. I'm your host, Alan Fu. I'll see you on the next episode.